Hey, we're live tonight on Monday, the 25th of September, 2017. On our panel, we have Yudit from Israel. We have Will from Holland.
I just got a message that we're live.
Yeah. Hello, Will.
I'll
We've got
just mute
Patricia
my
from
phone.
the UK, Holland, and our special guest tonight is Martin Liedtke.
Oh, thank you very much.
Hello.
I never had a notification for your show last night, Karen. Marilyn Wisby sent me an email saying that she never had a notification for mine or yours. And I was like, whoa, they're on. And I put Sun and Moon into YouTube. You're on. They never, the bells clicked, but they're not notifying. This is happening right across the board, but only to flat earthers for some reason. They're not notifying one another. Or YouTube are making sure we're not being
I just got a notice that we're live, so I mean,
yeah, has it come up on mine? Oh, it has on that one. Oh, okay.
Well, hey. And Martin has got to talk about, he's been making a few videos lately, and buildings and things, Venetian. So, Martin, over to you.
Okay, well, I'll try to elaborate myself as best as I can. Well, I think my biggest discovery of the week for myself, which it's always been niggling away, this one in the back of my head, not just since I've been a flat earther, but for many, many years, about the timeline, the history timeline. But it's only come in my radar in the last, say, month that the bomber campaign of World War II, it's not sidetracking, it's not a segue, it's completely connected to the whole story. Now, I've got plenty of books on this, the bomber campaign of Bomber Harris of the RAF and the US Air Force in World War II over mainland Europe. Yeah. Now, it was the complete destruction of Europe's masonry and Europe's cities. Now, I used, for an example, a night ago, Dresden. I've always been intrigued because the attack was outside of apparently Tokyo, Hiroshima, and Nagasaki, whatever you can make of them, the biggest destruction by short in Europe of any city. It was a safe haven. There was no military significance. The government were well aware of that, yet they had the US Air Force by day, the RAF by night for 3 days, killing probably up to 500,000 people. Biblical. So the entire city is just basically devastated, like 2/3 gone. But if you look at the images of Dresden, it is so ornate, it is unbelievable. It is full of palaces and this similar architecture you'd see now in St. Petersburg, the Hermitage or the St. Peter's Palace, or if you go to Kroningsberg. And I'm discovering all these places in old Europe, but some of these places are still left. Potsdam is one I discovered recently in Germany. Now, it's appeared to me, right, that this has been a concerted effort by the governments working together to get rid of the masonry of Europe, or the civilization that has just gone before us. Why do I believe this? Well, I've got evidence. Now, Dresden, it's a star fort. The entire city is inside a star fort. I thought, well, what's the chances? So I go a bit further. All of the European cities, most of these European cities are inside ornate star fort systems. Malta, the most bombed island outside of Iwo Jima in the Pacific of World War II. So why did the Nazis hold Malta in such significance and just plaster it day after day? Valletta, the capital, is hewed, the whole city is hewed out of stone and in star forts. So what are star forts? Well, we don't really know, but they appear to have been built before this civilization, in the civilization that's just gone before us recently. And there's been a cataclysm. I believe we're a species in amnesia. I believe we know. I believe karmically we know, but it's too much of a shock for us to know about this cataclysm, these earthquakes, these mudslides that have silted and covered everything. What caused it? Possibly the electric universe hypothesis and large electrical discharges into the atmosphere. We're on a flat plane, that would work. So I think the governments are well aware of this. I think they've done deals between one another during the wars to masonry. Bear in mind the West End of London during the Blitz never got touched. A token bomb landed on a a neglected wing of Buckingham Palace, but all the other bombs landed on the east end of London. And, you know, slums, the only place in the West End was a place called Paternoster Square, across the road from St. Paul's. Yet St. Paul's gets completely missed. What are the chances? So I think that there's been an effort to hide the past. I think this is a big part of the whole story of the, you know, the introduction of this heliocentric model at the, you know, around the 1500s during the Enlightenment. I think this is a big clue, this word enlightenment. I think this whole period of the last 500 years, I'm not even sure if it's been here, if the truth be known. I had somebody on about Socrates and Aristophanes to me earlier, and I'm like, well, that's only words in a classically educated book in a university. Now, if you just think about how easy it was for them to control the masses, say go back to the 1600s, the only universities really on earth were Oxford and Cambridge, the first of their type really in the world. So they're up and running, establishment got hold of them. So all of the best brains, which are all rich people's children, the rest of us don't know shit. We can barely read or write. The only time we got to basically read the same English is when the King St. James Bible got introduced to British churches, so we could all speak the same dialect. This is recently, the last 350 years. So it appears to me that this operation was a lot easier to implement than I thought. All they had to do was any brains, get them into these universities, pump them full of heliocentric bullshit. Obviously evolution hadn't come around at that time, had it? You know, 1600s, 1700s, it was just coming in, the idea, and then bam, a hired up, you know, Jesuit Freemason with a contract. It goes out to the Galapagos Islands, sees you two ducks that don't look the same, and comes to the conclusion that you know, evolution. So I believe that there's more to this flat Earth. I think that the whole operation, and it's actually becoming clear to me now what they've done. You know, my question in the beginning was, how could they have implemented it? How could they have hid this from the human race? Well, I think it's quite simple. If we were a society like Amazons, and we all were like, you know, transcendental beings, where we spent our days using art and music and making love and hanging out and eating and never worrying, like we're supposed to be doing, instead of worrying and getting ill with the bullshit they give us and dying young and basically slaves our entire life. So I think that this dark ages is now. I think we were in a golden era, golden age of Kali, if you like. Something happened. Then they've had the knowledge, some of it, and they've raked it back. I think that they've made a discovery around the 1800s mark, possibly underground, possibly tunneling systems, possibly tunneling equipment. I believe the implementation of the New York and London subways, the story of them is very, very contrived. I believe there was tunnels down there in the first place. I believe they're connected to a tunnel system that goes from London to Istanbul and under all the plain. I believe it's connected, and it comes up in the Labyrinth of Colossus in Crete, in the Minotaur Empire, Santorini, North Crete. The labyrinth is on the map mundi itself, and it's always referred to. The Nazis went there in World War II and dynamited the entrances, so nobody can ever get in there. The place where the Minotaur is supposed to be. So I think there's underground, these people, whoever they were, had vast underground systems. I think they had access to them. I think mining is a big part of this whole thing as well. I think that they've easily implemented this if they had hold of the good minds, like think tanks, get them into the think tanks, like they do now, guys. You know, all these people that keep coming to us as flat earthers, you know, all they're doing is regurgitating other people's rubbish. And never, you know, not using any new stuff or thinking for themselves. You know, we're going on a 150-year-old model here. You know, we had 150 years of discovery. What? And you haven't changed your model or even tweaked it a bit? Are you going to go another 150 years on the same model? Yes, they are. They are insane. So I think it's a lot easier to come to terms with. It's also basically falling into place. And as for my reset, I did postulate a reset around 1300. Yes, a lot of things collapsed at that date, but I think there were further ones. More recent, you know, guys. I really, really do. It's easy to do. Think about it. If all the masses are fast asleep, they don't know what fucking year it is. They have the Mappa Mundi brought around their village in 1300s, and they say, this is the world you live in. This is the world presented to you. This is where you are. But it's not. The Americans are not on there. But they're showing everybody this is the world that's presented to you. So they're doing the same now, guys. They're giving us a map. They're saying, look, guys, this is the world you live on. They're presenting it to us, but it's not, guys. There's more. The same as there was then. We just put too much trust into them, and I keep arguing this point. I don't believe any of it anymore. I don't believe any of their science bullshit. Everything's tied up in mathematical fucking confusion and calculus. Only a tiny bit of the population can read. Them. I think that'll do for my little rant for the moment. But my history's coming along really, really well. I'm basically getting somewhere, and I'm not just being fanciful and actually clutching at straws here. I am actually onto something solid. The evidence is there. It is out in the ether. It's just piecing it together.
We want to hear, Martin. We want to hear.
It's piecing it together. It's all you lot, the flat earthers, working with me. I'm not doing this alone. They feed me with the information. I have to discern what would be best for us as a whole and get them to get it out there. But it's a 24-hour operation here. But for the same token, it's a bit of a gift because I'm getting like these constant daily whammies of paradigm shifts of wow, a deeper understanding, and wow, a deeper understanding. And it's absolutely massive. It is beyond belief. It blows my mind constantly when I think about it. But it's true. And we have to deal with it.
Just when you think you've learned everything you need to know. Oh, there's more.
I always knew about the timeline. I've been banging on about it on my channel for over 2 years, Karen, since the beginning. There's something wrong with the timeline. I'd bring history books out and try and explain what I was saying. There's this 1,000 years of not much happening, and then suddenly this 1,000 years starts to slow up, get to 1800s, or basically the Industrial Revolution, late 1600s, 1700s, and then we get a bit better. 1800, bam, 1900, then the technical revolution, and all of this arrives. So they're leading us to think we'll just go the last 2,000 years of our reality, that we were covered in mud, horse and cart, bugger all really, bit thick, covered in scabs. The only one that was clean was the king. And then we get to basically the 1900s, and then electricity arrives in this whole modern world, and anything before. Now, that's alarm bells massively to me, guys. It really is, because I believe we had advanced technology, much better than this, much before. And I think these star books, looking at them, they're based on sacred geometry. So is it conceivable there's some sort of technology? Some sort of technology like the works like, in Tijuana, when they got the pyramids based up with the mercury poles, and they all work together on some sort of like circuit, if you could see it from above. Well, I think there may be something like that, because I pulled up a schematic on a fort system earlier, star fort system. Boy, oh boy, did they look like an engine. So I think there's something technical going on with these star forts, guys. And I think it's from this, maybe it's connected to the pyramids and all the rest of it, this alternative fuels, this alternative energy that's locked in the ether. I think it's part of it too. It's all about the free energy, it always has been. But boy, oh boy, it goes so deep. It really, really does. History's a doozy. If they lie about the shape of the earth, history is a given. Of course they are. And the high-up Freemason Napoleon. Well, I've looked into Napoleon extensively in my life. With employee, a prince of Corsica. If you've looked into his campaign against Russia, it was insanity. He knew he was driving 1 million men into snow and ice, unprepared, with summer clothing, exactly the same mistake as Hitler made in Stalingrad. So why would he do that? So I'll tell you why he did it. They get all the way to the Eastern Front, to the Battle of Borodino. They have a big, massive battle with the Russians. So many people died, it's ridiculous. Just, read War and Peace or Anna Karenina. There are loads of clues in there. They get to Moscow, which is Rome, which is another one of these incredible edificed cities with these buildings that defy explanation and size and quality. They get there. The city's empty. The entire population is left. That many. So they got the city to themselves. So they start destroying shit. They're blowing architecture up. Everywhere on the way back, they blow up architecture. So Napoleon's campaign of Russia was solely about destroying architecture. And that was it. And I started to think that all of these campaigns, apart from rewriting the maps, sharing it out amongst the high-up Freemasons, deals for the bankers who work for the high-up Freemasons and are, affiliated to them, make for everybody, oil companies, steel companies, all the rest, how war works. It's great business. They love the stuff. At the same token, they can eradicate the past, blowing up the Labyrinth of Colossus, places like Königsberg or Dresden or, there's so many keys. Maybe even Tokyo. You know, Japan, it just seems to be one big star fort from what I can make out, the whole place. So they're using the same technology in the Far East as they are in Europe and America, mind. So at what time stage are they building these things? Are they colonial? Well, they'd like to let you think that they're colonial, but they'd have to be very early colonial. We've got all of these Napoleonic forts all around Britain. There's one outside Plymouth, Plymouth Hoe, and Fort Boyard, or whatever it's called. And they're supposed to be Napoleonic forts, but there's only their word for it. That's the problem here. We're taking everything that they tell us as sanctum. What if all of these things are just inherited? And they're taking it from a previous civilization, got it from the mud. Well, have you got any evidence for this mud coverage? Oh yeah, plenty. Google London Basin and see what comes up, because it's a narrative of how they basically dug London out of meters and meters of a greyish silt, originally to make Londinium. Also, there's evidence of siltage going down to the Caspian Sea, out Russia, from the south of Moscow area. There is evidence all over the plain for some giant cataclysm. Something's chucked these edifices around, you know, Puma Punko, them giant H blocks weighing tons and tons each. Something's chucked them haphazardly. So what forces happened? The Leaning Tower of Pisa. I don't think that thing was actually built like that, you know, guys, because, you know, builders use a thing called a plumb bob. They're not stupid. The thing will fall over. So they say it's subsided. If that was a reality, it would be unsafe. They would have took it down. I think that it's older. I think the Tower of Pisa has been knocked by whatever force happened. And there's evidence this all over northern Italy and a lot of the Italian region, actually. If you look at my vlog this morning, I did one on Tuscany, place I've traveled quite a bit, the Etruscan Empire. And they've all suffered this same sort of cataclysm, and all of the masonry sort of moved in one way as well, like if there's been a blast. We got evidence of the Indus Valley civilization disappeared from the face of the earth. They say that their star forts and their civilizations suffered some ancient nuclear war or something. Some heat had happened there because their forts are vitrified. Their stone is bubbled and melted together. Oh yes. So is it conceivable that this cataclysm was the electric university hypothesis, and it happened in the Indus Valley? It's happened in castles in Western Scotland, vitrified forts again. So it could have happened there too. So I think there is a cataclysm that happened near history. They've messed up the time. They just made it up. There has been no first 1,000 years. I wouldn't even hazard to guess to what year we were in. I would say it probably around the year 217 would be closer. We haven't been here. You know, what about the SS vetting process? They used to vet them only as back as 1742. I used to think, well, so if they had if they go back one generation and they got a Jewish relative, that would have been absolutely fine with them, would it? So no, did they stop there because there was no before then? There's a lot of questions with vetting processes, and the records only go back to the mid-1700s. Why can we take them before? Queen Victoria had apparently, Queen Elizabeth had a really good police state, and everything was well documented, yet they couldn't, you know, keep an eye on the weather, for example, keep records back then on the weather. They only started in the 1700s too. Why is everything starting up then? So there's so many questions. So that's where I'm at with my thing, and plenty more besides. I'm working on false flags and the stuff, and getting heat left, right, and centre. And that's what I do. So I just got cotton mouth talking that much. Whew. You know what? Somebody else's go. I'm just lighting a joss stick.
Oh, I was waiting now to hear a bit more about, like, on your videos.
Concerning what? Because I'm actually lost. I make about 5 videos a day on different subjects. And I'm lost.
It's the one with the aqua, what do you call it?
Okay. Well, that kills the globe, basically. That absolutely kills it. Now, when I was in north of Florence, it is in northern Italy, and they're the Etruscan Empire again. Now, this precedes Rome. Okay, Rome didn't exist at this period. The Etruscans, where are they? We don't know. They disappeared. Another civilization that's just vanished. But if you look at their architecture and their society, it appears that they were more advanced than the Romans, and the Romans were not really the ones who invented all this stuff. It was the Etruscans, and before them the Phoenicians, and God knows who before them. So it just seems that Rome is just a word and nothing more. So I've seen these in northern Tuscany, these giant underground aquifers, which are beautifully made, pristine coloured water underground of water that comes up naturally. And they feed it off to Rome and other cities, Florence and other cities along the coast, via aqueducts, okay? That go through valleys, over hills, and but they got to be completely flat, you see. But they have to drop, okay, for it to run. Nothing to do with gravity, that's rubbish. They have to run, they have to make a 9-inch drop every 225 meters in order for this to work. Now, if there's apparently a curve at 8 inches per mile squared falling away from you everywhere you are, because remember, if you're on a ball, you will always be on top of that ball, always, relative to where everything else is, and everything will always fall away from you. So think that perspective and try and think how that would work when an aquifer has to fall away at 9 inches every 220 odd meters to get to Rome. It's traveling uphill then on a ball, is it? It's traveling uphill but still falling away downwards towards Rome, is it? It's impossible.
Well, if I can comment on that, I know I don't know if you heard of the landlines that go everywhere through the map. So if you got like an intersection of like 8 or 9 crosses that form a portal, you can move stuff upwards, so you can for some brains is complicated, but if you got all the landlines that
it causes a nodal point. No. And they say there's one in Glastonbury. They put a stage, the pyramid stage, smack on it, and they say there must be at least 60 nodal points crossing at one point in Glastonbury. But there's a certain atmosphere there, and if you've got a divining rod on you, thing goes insane. Trips up your hands. But divining rods, I practiced with them. I made some coat hangers and Bic pens, and they work. They work all right. You know, I went over where I knew there was an underground water source, because the cows drink it down by there. It goes under and it comes up by there. So I walked over it and they went, whoop, whoop. So they work. So how does that work? Well, we know how it works, but how would science explain the divining rod exactly? Because they can't explain it. You know, maybe we should ask the Globo with their answers for everything about how does the divining rods work.
I just thought of it because last weekend, first episode of the new season, Ghost Adventures, was on travel. So they were at that point where the landlines crossed what is called like a portal, and it's based in America. So. Yeah.
What I'd like to say, because we got one here in the Vale of Glamorgan. It's very dark, this place where I live, and it's very mystical. It's old, ancient. You even feels it as well when you're here, you know. And the veil is thin between dimensions here. When you go like there's places in Tibet, because the high Tibetan plateau is so high up to the firmament. I think that the veil is really thin, and the monks that are there and doing these incredible feats, which we're all capable of, by the way. You know, they say that the veil is thin, and we got the same here. And I think that's what happens between these, you know, where the ley lines cross these nodal points, the veil gets thin. I think all these ancient cultures, you know, were aware of this, because I've got a book up there, Ancient and Sacred Sites. And all of these places seem to be put on sort of ley line, you know, mapping lines. You know, even I was looking at Skara Brae. Have you heard of this place? Up in Orkney, Skara Brae. Really unusual megalith. Underground civilization in northern Scotland, in an island in northern Scotland. really unusual, but incredibly late stones, all fit in really tight. Looks like it could be Mexico, no mortar used, Scotland. This civilization that just went before us, I don't know how, I can't imagine how they were traveling because ships are so slow. I think there was more going on for them to be able to communicate. You know, I've got evidence of, you know, Phoenicians in Patagonia. I've got evidence of Suma, Mexico, and in Peru through Dr. Crespi. So this is not people bringing them in recent times. These people were back then bringing their items. You know, it is an international society. So how were they traveling? Hot air balloon, flying machine? Well, according to the Bhagavad Gita, the ancient Hindu text, they had flying machines, and they estimate that book at 6,500 years ago. They say that's the oldest text on Earth. I'm not so sure about that, guys, but the evidence in there is pretty juicy.
Martin, do you have any pictures you can show us? Do you have any pictures you can show us?
So many, yeah. What do you want to see? I found some. So many. I got so many. Let me have a look.
Show us a couple because people like pictures.
So they do. Right, let me have a look at something.
I think Artist is very interested. Artist in the chat room is very interested.
Hi, Artist. Hi, everyone in chat room. Hope you're having a wicked day.
Hello, everybody in chat room.
Yeah, and I was looking into a cartographer, John Seeds. Is anybody aware of this gentleman? You heard of him? John Seeds. Well, he's part of this deception. He was given a contract of Queen Elizabeth I to, she gave him a custom house to set up the world's first printing press to print maps, to hand out to the public. His maps, heliocentric maps at that time. Before then, no, Ptolemaic. Interesting, isn't it? So I'll have a look now. So I've been researching this guy, John Speed. New to me, never knew nothing about him. I found a book of antiquity, antique maps, and he came up in it. And I thought, that makes sense, especially with Queen Elizabeth I and her police state. Right, let's have a look at some of my actually it's just short screen. I got some pictures. Now the expositions, you're all aware of these, aren't you guys? They were worldwide. They were in LA, Philadelphia, St. Louis had one of the best, New York, Los Angeles, London, the Crystal Palace, Melbourne had one. So all of these cities in the 1850s had these exhibitions of up to 50 palaces. I mean palaces, I mean real proper palaces with ornate architecture like you've never seen before, and it all replicates this same style of this sort of Amazonian Asian culture style. Are they just replicating Rococo or something, some style of that? No, this stuff was there before, and I'm convinced of it. Why would they move the capital of Russia from Moscow to St. Petersburg, which is built on a swamp? Why did they build St. Petersburg on a swamp? Yep, sorry, I didn't realize it'd come up. Okay, let me see here. No, I didn't realize it was up, sorry.
Cool.
Okay, well, this one's interesting. This is in Wales. It's called Devil's Bridge. I visited here when I was 18 with an American girl I was going out with. The story behind this is exactly the same story as the fable they tell you in Switzerland to do with the entry point to the CERN tunnel. That is also called Devil's Bridge, and it has exactly the same folktale. The story is that a woman had her cattle on the one side of this great cavern, and she wanted to get across, and the devil appeared on the other side, and he said, well, I'll put a bridge across, but I want the soul of the first thing that comes across. Okay, she says. So he built a bridge, and a dog runs across the bridge. So he ends up with the soul of the dog. He gets annoyed, but that's just a fable. But the interesting thing about this bridge is what exactly is going on here, and try and put ages on it. So we try to age the first bridge, but it's from a time we don't even know, first 1,000 years AD, whatever. So that's the first bridge. And then they've put, so this is the point. Why didn't they carry on using the bridge? How come the level went up? So then you go up again. which looks to me like a 100% Roman arch, guys. The type of combing underneath the arch is the same style as Roman, and even the style itself with the columns that come down into the other bridge itself. Oh, so what's going on there? Oh, I only just discovered that. I don't know. It's just stumped me. I'm trying to work out why that bridge is actually built into the other bridge on top. Were they bridges originally? Look at these big stones next to it. So then they build another bridge on top with this steel gantry. So I can take it up.
Go into that picture, Martin, that you're talking about.
Yes, of course. I'm wondering if the bridge, the third one up, this one here has got a metal top, so it makes it look Victorian, okay, but not the masonry. This masonry is not Victorian, plus the local building stone is not that coloured. But then this part here built down into this bridge here, but look, it's going into that wall there, so it's not chamfered away. You can see that clearly, okay? It's not going into that wall, it's not chamfered away, so it comes along straight, but the arch
image list and not the image itself.
We see the Windows Explorer.
Could be. It's difficult to work out what's going on there, guys, but there's definitely something going on.
Open the image and then share the image.
What do you mean?
With screen.
Huh?
We see the Windows Explorer.
Yeah.
Instead of the image.
Not the image itself.
What do you mean?
We see all the pictures, but if you press...
Oh, dear. Oh,
yeah,
I thought the image was come up.
application.
I'm not actually looking on the watch page. In fact, I haven't even got it open, guys. So what do you see now then? You see a large lighthouse?
A list of images.
A list of images of houses. There's a bridge.
Yeah. So they're not coming up at all, are they, individually?
No,
No,
not
that's, you need to open the image and share that image application. And then you can
Yeah, I thought they had.
probably browse with that image tool.
So I thought I had. Unusual. What happened there? Hang on, 2 secs. Just stop sharing a minute. Well, why aren't the individual images coming up then?
Yeah, they're coming up, but you need to share the image viewer and not the image list. You actually share a separate
Oh,
application.
you kill that then? All right, matey. You are a good one.
window.
All right then, my old China.
Now you do it the same thing again.
How
The
about that?
image viewer, you just open the image first and then share the big image.
How's that? There's nothing else up.
It's the other way around. First open the image and then share the image.
Open the picture up first, Martin, and then
The
share.
picture's open. I'm looking at it.
Yeah, and
Well, then
now
put those
share.
pictures
For me, the file with all the little pictures on has been deleted. I've dropped it. I've X'd it. It's not open anymore. I've opened up the file with the pictures in to go through it. From my perspective, that page is closed.
You don't share it yet because you actually selected the image browser instead of the image viewer. That's
so
why you
that's
need to
closed.
open the image viewer
That's
first
closed.
and then share the image viewer.
Yeah, go back to application and look for the individual picture, because if you've opened it up, when you get to application window, you should be able to see the individual picture.
These are my
We've
own,
always got to have a bit of technical. It wouldn't be a hangout unless you had a bit of technical on it.
It's all right. We haven't got a production company. It's not like an HTV. Yeah. Let's have a look.
It's okay. We're not worried, Martin.
Okay. I've got 1 million pictures, literally. I got 2 terabytes of so many have I got of pictures? Maybe 500 gigs. Can you imagine how many pictures that would be? It's ridiculous. Takes some accumulating and trying to memorize them all for where they are, though, to be honest with you.
Yeah, which file's got which in it?
Yeah. Oh, I got loads of different files. I've got hundreds and hundreds of different files. Just trying to work out what's in what. Of interest, if you know what I mean. Especially what I'm working on recently. What was I just showing you?
Well, I thought we were going to look at the bridge.
Yeah, Devil's Bridge.
Bridges.
Expos. Okay. Yeah, that Devil's Bridge is an enigma. I wish I'd have been into this stuff when I went there in the first place. Because, you know what I mean?
So many vacations here.
Yeah, too many, mate. 2 Roonies, own fruits. I'm not really up to doing anything technical. I've been asleep all evening. Didn't wait for days. I'm one of these content junkies.
Is there any way you could send it into the chat and maybe Ceres can put it up?
Not really. It'll be on my files. It's all on my my personal files. It's not like a web page or shit. So it's just my own folder. Should come up.
Open
weird.
the image. You will see.
Right, it should come up, shouldn't it? It doesn't have to put everyone else when I share. On every other angle. It's weird. So I'll go again. Expositions. I'm brain seizing up now. I was asleep like 20 minutes before I went to come on here. I don't know how I'm still functioning. Give me old fruits. Oh, that's tricky.
20 winks when you can, don't you?
Last night I had some local psychopaths turn up at the door, so I couldn't go to bed last night. I had to sit up all night with my boots on, just in case they turned up. It's not fair, but you know, some people live like that. Well, I was sharing them, was I? Oh, holy shit, I thought I wasn't. You have to just bear with me, guys. I'm not really here today.
Sorry, because you were in mid-flow then, weren't you?
Sorry, love?
You were in mid-flow.
Yeah, my brain's just shut down. I don't even know why. It happens sometimes. Tiredness, I think.
I think we're all tired though, aren't we, us flat earthers who stay up all night now? We're like the night people.
I haven't slept in months or years, but it's not that. It's why isn't that sharing? Oh, anyway. So what are you looking at now on your screen, Karen?
Yeah, now put it down. Yeah, now that's it. Now, yeah.
Right, now, see this should just come up, right? You're not seeing that?
Yes, we've seen it. It's there.
Oh, there was one there the last time. That is weird. Okay, she's still seeing it?
Yeah, we're there.
All right, beautiful. Why didn't that come up the last time? That's really strange. No, what I'm seeing with this second bridge, right, is on this this right-hand side, right? Now this goes into this wall here on that side. Okay, good and fine. So why is the arch coming down? So this isn't actually a bridge at all, is it, guys? This lower one, this first one with this arch here, if this is coming down this arch into this side here, we're all the way down as far as that, as far as I can see. Well, that neglects it being a bridge, because the bridge would be this top bit here, you see, where somebody will walk over. So that would be impossible. So I can't work out what's happened here. This year seems to be off of something else, this huge, massive block thing, and further over here as well. So they got that bridge and then this modern day thing on top. So that's Devil's Bridge, but I think that's evidence of this previous. I got bridges that look the same as that in Hong Kong. I've been looking into the I discovered this aqueduct called the Bowen Aqueduct, and it rung alarm bells. It looked Roman, so I basically researched into it. It was part of this guy Bowen, 1850s. Decides to build this. In fact, it's probably better if I show you the pictures in a minute. Let's just go through these. Now, these are apparently in the expos all over the world. You can see them, and I mean they're massive, guys. So in the center of every city, St. Louis, New York, they run for like a few years, and then every single one of them, bar none, are destroyed by fire. I got pictures of Philadelphia. The whole city's gone. The rest of them, or any evidence of them, have just been destroyed. Nothing of these buildings, or any of them, I'll go through them in a minute, exist. So none of these exist anymore. And it's just this really unusual, it's not German, it's not any style that I've ever seen, except this same old style, what you see in sort of places like St. Petersburg, Moscow, this identical old world style. So this is, you would think from this Asian culture just gone past with all the minarets and palaces. No, it's the center of an American city. So why did so in my mind, I think stone edifices, if they're on fire, the contents might get gutted, but to me, I think the stone would stay, which is why the Reichstag, when it had its fire, it's still there today. And other famous arches which have been battered over time are still there today. Yet these things have all disappeared. Now, we had one in Britain, the Crystal Palace. Massive, they used to have oak trees inside, exhibitions showing you how the world was going to be. Look at these great things that we've discovered and we've invented. And this is what you're going to have in the future. All of these expositions were like an exercise in showing everybody this is how the world is now going to be. But then they showed you an example of this, how this world is going to be. Then they take it away. And that's the part of questions with that. I don't know why they did that. So all of this is gone. So that looks like it could be in Strasbourg. No, center of an American city. Center of an American city. Again, all of these are expos, palaces. St. Louis had up to 56 palaces. St. Louis. I'll show you a picture now. I'll come out. I think that might be Chicago, or that's a pavilion. Not really sure, actually. It says Turkey. Turkey. That's Turkey. Where that is now, it doesn't exist. None of this exists. Any of it. So they all destroyed it by fire.
Quite magnificent, aren't they?
They are, oh, this one is mind-blowing. Wait till I show you the front of it. Now, this is also in America. But can you imagine this actually being destroyed by fire? Because I'm sorry, I just can't. Look at the lower windows as well. Like they're the upper windows or something lower. I think these are from that Asian culture. And you try and work it out in your mind at time. So, all right, we've got our great-grandparents, and we can trace our great-great-grandparents to the 1800s, and then it all gets a bit fuzzy. So there's the great exposition in, not sure, but I think that's the one in Chicago. Where that
previously photo that you pulled up, that almost looks like an American prison somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. You see the front view on it in a minute.
Yeah, the front must be like.
It's like a palace. I'm telling you, you'd be shocked. I'll show you how ornate it is. The statues and that. But see this thing on the corner here. No, whatever are we looking at there? Look at the statues, guys. This building on the corner. Take a look at it. What the hell is it? Well, it's a building that's built like a ship, but
that's Rome.
It's Rome. In America? How many Americans know this stuff actually existed? The one I done on St. Louis actually shocked people who were from St. Louis. What? That was in my city? Look at that, guys.
Yeah, but the weirdest thing, the weirdest thing is that people get offended by something and destroy a statue. I mean, you hear it all over the US. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So how can these be destroyed by fire?
They're not. They're being demolished or being removed.
Yeah. And if you go in and look into the building of these places, this one in particular is the only one I found any information on. Some, I don't know, early Victorian industrialist apparently in the building of this place. No photographs exist of any of these being built full stop. Try and find it, because I can't. Building of the expositions. Nothing. Probably because it's too early and photography wasn't around. But it was. First photographs were 1842, Cornelius, Freemason. So what's that? Well, I tell you what, it looks exactly the same as Cardiff Bridge in my city, and we had exactly the same over our bridge at the turn of the century. What it is, I don't know, but we had one year. Identical, guys, and this is 1850s in America. So they're replicating the same in every city in the Western world, in Christendom, for some reason. That is a 100% replica of the courthouse of Ghent. I've been to Ghent many times, and that is, I got a magnet on my fridge of that. And it's 100% identical, but this is in America, guys. It's hard to believe, I know, but it is, and it's gone. These expos. Yeah, it's so sad, but look at the architecture in all these places, Karen. You know, that, right? It's based on the same symmetry as you will see on the Taj Mahal. The beauty of it is, if you came to the left a little bit or to the right a little bit, you wouldn't be able to see that perspective. It's an optical illusion, but you can see the pyramid, the Eiffel Tower in the background. So this is in 1880s, because this was finished in the 1880s. So this must be new. So the exposition in Paris was still running in the 1880s. You know, the one in London had been burnt down, the Crystal Palace, by then. Ask yourself this: the Crystal Palace is a greenhouse made of glass and metal. Glass and metal. How can that burn down? So, same old replicated architecture again. Does that look like Germany?
Did they have to destroy all these? Did they have to destroy them all so they made us look like we were sort of prehistoric in the 1800s, 1900s?
Yeah,
then?
it is exactly that, love. Yeah, they're dumbing us down. They told us that we were dumb and we were something else back in the past. They told us we were basically families were bigger because we were so poor, we were stupid, we were all of these things they told us we were. Our health was poor, we died young, the longevity rate was, you know, all the kids were dying young. And what if all of this is just lies, and they're telling this to like undermine us so we don't carry on living for donkey's years? Because I believe that's what's going on. I don't believe that half of what they tell us. I think when you understand the way consciousness works and the power of the placebo effect, which they definitely understand, imagine what they can do with the masses. When the masses would just believe anything. The placebo effect, a water tablet can disperse a cancerous cell on a belief. And they know that technology. Oh, that's still dangerous. So I think this might be some sort of psychological implant, but then they take it away. Like a clue, they're there. But there is an hypothesis out there, not my own. It was brought forward to me by a guy called Sergei Maltsev from Murmansk in Russia, who I do some work with occasionally. He's put forward the age of photography is false, and a very convincing hypothesis that Kodak Eastman, the father of Linda McCartney, who was married to Paul McCartney of the Beatles, Eastman had done some sort of hiding of the true age of photography. Now, I can understand why in the early industrial revolution we built all of that stuff, you know, high pressured steaming, valves, flanges, all the rest. The ships were coming on in a treat, yet they couldn't put a pinhole in a box and make an image. Now, I've got proof that they had apparently the Oculus, a photographic box, in the 1500s. The camera was around then. So it is conceivable, you know, guys, they might be lying about the age of photography. And this could have been in a vault from the time back. And they could keep just replicating the fashions out of a book. The famous psychic, Edward Casey, who used to be a remote viewer, he went off into the future in his mind, remote viewing, and he said what he witnessed was in the future, a culture that was based, they had high technology, but their fashion was based on 1950s. So I think, because I know for a fact that all of these fashions, the 1950s, the 60s, the 70s, and how they changed was not a development of our consciousness. It was introduced to us as a social engineering program by the Tavistock Institute and other institutes as well. It's implemented out of a book, probably. And I believe that that same thing went on before. So there's no way to actually, you know, definitely say if these photographs were taken in the 1850s, except for that Paris one, because the Eiffel Tower is there and I've just got photographs of the buildings of it. This bank here, right the way along this canal bank, is palaces as far as the eye can see. I know, Karen. This is probably the one that bugs me the most. You know, these are all basically huge stone edifices. You should see the insides of them, Karen. They all look like the Hermitage. Just sublime architecture. And in America. And every building, that's in America.
So much nicer today, isn't it?
No, that's a Paris. That's out of the Paris exposition. But there's nothing left of it. They choose what they leave. Versailles is part of it. I've noticed that they get rid of a lot of the old architecture they choose, but stately homes in England that were built in the 1600s, oh no, they can stay. Have you noticed that? All the stately homes are still around. But all of this, everything you see in that picture there, guys, every single thing there has been burnt and destroyed. Now the question is, why would they replace it with shit concrete skyscrapers when they had that there? Are we going backwards? Yeah.
Yeah, because now you wouldn't be able to, would you now?
No. Somebody gave me an interesting hypothesis the other day, Karen, a sub-lawner. I was showing you train stations in the Victorian era, which were beautiful ornate roofs, and one in my city. And then they took it down, tore down this beautiful place, not far off, looking like this, and they replaced it with no roof, a shitty platform, and just a little brick ticket office. They took it away. You know, the Victorians had this beautiful ornate roof, cups of tea, absolutely sublime, and they took it away. So
Asking Martin, what's that thing in with the wheels on it? What's that there then?
I'll mag up on it now. So what I think is, because after the First World War, there was a shortage of horses. 1 million horses died in the First World War out of Britain. Well, 1 million went, never come back, basically. So I think because there was a shortage of horses, they wanted everyone to get cars. So I think that's why they made train stations as uncomfortable as they can. So people bought the Model T Ford. I think it was a scam getting rid of the good railway stations. It's some sort of crane gantry, but what is it doing? Well, it was an exhibition for engineering as well, Karen. The first electricity ever shown was at the Great Exposition in New York. Edison showed his first light bulb there. The first light bulb building ever to be electrified by Edison was the JP Morgan Bank in New York. The first building on Earth, apparently, this time around. And it basically had all of the population in awe. But the first city to ever be electrified, thanks to our man Tesla, was Buffalo. Not New York, Buffalo. From the Lake Erie power station, he managed to power Buffalo because they could carry AC over short distances. And obviously Edison's DC needed boosters every mile or so, ugly big transformers, which was no good. So thank God for Tesla. Now this column here, can you see this column? This replicated all over Europe, the world. I don't know what they represent. I think they're just a symbol for Rome. I got a sinister feeling there may be something inside of them also, because they are a box of sorts, and that always leads me to think the box has got something in them. So everything you see,
none of that's there.
Nothing there is every single thing. That building in the background there, Karen, looks like a German building out of Strasbourg, doesn't it? And you can see these giant greenhouses, exhibition centres, Karen, same as the Crystal Palace, all gone. Okay, it just defies the imagination. To me, it's hiding the past. I think this could possibly, no evidence this being built by these people or the Americans. What if the chances are it was covered in silt? The people come to the New World, they never brought the engineering with them. We got evidence of aqueducts and viaducts all over South America. They postulate that they're colonial. Yeah, Cortez, he only took 60 ships full of mass murderers and went on a mass murdering, raping binge. He never had no engineering bloody companies with them. That's rubbish. They're not down to him, and they're not down to the people that followed him either. So I think that they possibly are from this civilization. This is high technology. The minds behind these is that Amazonian state of mind, high technology. You can see the beauty in it. You know, these people who are designed it are of that mind too. Which they're not anymore, by the way, guys. They're taking us away from who we are, away from the family unit, and our. I
can't believe they were gone. They're lovely. They're such lovely buildings.
It blows my mind, Karen. I can't understand. Well, I can understand it, but then there's the question leading to why every single one of them on the face of the earth exists no more. The only remnants you can get, look at that, that's for navigation. So that's a ship. Sorry, that's a ship museum. It says there on the arch, navigation. So anything in there, because it's the shape of a ship's bow on the front, would have been to do with shipping. That is a mind blow, isn't it? And what we got on top of there? Some sort of globe. Let's have a look. Yeah, a globe encased by, basically, looks like a bars. So, right in your face. That's Paris. The French flag's there. So it's part of the Paris expedition. Chicago is one of the most mind-blowing. That's one of their railway stations.
On top? That looked like a big eye.
Oh, well, it's the eagle for sure. So your eagle's there for your symbol. An eagle there too. So
No. There was an image back.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah, that one. Yeah,
that one.
Yeah, that looks like an eye on top.
Oh, I just magged up. No, I think it's representative of the globe, and then it's like sort of railings around it, or like bars. I think that's saying you're barred into this.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, they do it. They do it a lot. You see this in all these Masonic sort of buildings, a clue to the heliocentric lie. It's part of it. The whole thing is part of it. I know it is. That to me looks like a later appendage, if I'm honest. This building could have been here in antiquity. It looks like a bloody chocolate ghetto cake, doesn't it? It's absolutely stunning. What kinds of work went into that with the Canisius? Now, I've worked on buildings. I can't imagine anyone replicating this today. That in itself is a work of a masterpiece.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Imagine if that was on our plane surface, the visitors that would have now, Karen. There's nothing like it. That is in London and Paris. But when I looked at it, I thought it was Hampton Court, the home of Henry VIII, built in 1500s.
That one picture, where I said it was an eye on top, it looks like a ship coming out on the left.
It is a ship. It's the whole building's made like a ship. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And what they've done is they've made, in these exhibitions, they've had like Little England, Little Hong Kong, and this building is a British stately home with a Union Jack, but it's in Paris. So, but I look at that building, if you understand the technology and the effort that goes into building something like this, to build it for the temporary measure for an exhibition is a giant leap of the imagination for me, guys. And for the temporary and then burn them all down, it's mind-blowing to me.
Artist says it looks like a sundial on top.
You want the silver ball, you mean? The ball?
I might add artist. Artist would love being here right now, so I'm going to add artist
Cool.
to the hangout because he's so into things like this.
Well, it's just an orb with sort of railings around it, and this band, I bet that band says something though, for sure. Like your slaves. Wow. Yeah, that is incredible, that building. It always blows my mind every time I see it. Let's get some juice. So yeah, that's a British stately home in Paris that no longer exists. I can't imagine what that is. But look at it, guys. I know. Can you imagine walking in front of that? Would you?
Oh, wow. Just look at them.
Blows the mind, Karen, I know.
Well, that opening in the middle, that on top, that looks almost like a snake head with eyes, and like no, lower in the middle.
In here.
Yeah, and
there.
there.
Oh, yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
It looks like a snake mouth
Oh,
with the eyes on
Yeah,
the side.
It does. I can see that. Well, maybe that's the illusion they're looking for. Because it has got a bit of depth perception, and it's like a mouth of a snake like that. For sure, definitely. I can see that. Cool. See, there's clues everywhere.
Considering they didn't, like, supposedly, how did they, if say it was the 1819, how did they build those?
And what is it under? From this angle, it looks like under the snake's mouth, there's like a half face with a nose and eyes.
Yeah, I can see that.
But if you like move in,
Yeah.
but if you like move in a little bit closer, it turns into an angel or a demon.
Oh God, yes, it does. Look, one thing I noticed about this picture, it's got 100% perfect symmetry. Do you know how difficult that is to achieve, guys?
There's actually two slaves standing on the left and on the right, with the demon in the middle as a portal going in.
Oh God, yeah, I can see that. Well, what else could it represent, my friend? Look at it. You know, that's got to represent something. It's a doorway into something. You've got the arch, all of these representations. You've got star there, star there.
Yeah, around the snake's mouth and the eyes, you got actually snakes, like little snakes in the. What?
Yeah. Wow.
It's all faces. It's all faces. It's all faces.
That is crazy, isn't it? Whew. Christ, if I looked at that trip, I'd see some more as well. That is incredible.
How long did it take them to build that?
Well, this is a question, Karen. In my reality, if you was to start an edifice like this building alone, because of its technology and its cornices and its perfect symmetry, as I said, if you know about building and stonemasonry, perfect symmetry in a bog standard building is nearly impossible to achieve. There will always be inconsistencies. It's very difficult to achieve, Karen. Yet in this building, you have unbelievable ornateness, in perfect symmetry both sides. You could put a mirror up the middle and it would show perfect either side. That is incredibly difficult to achieve. So how did they achieve that? The mindset of today to build something like this, as I said, it would be one of the great masterpieces and achievements of modern society, I would believe, if you could build something like that. Nothing exists like this. No, nothing. So Karen, I can't imagine how and when. Honestly, I just can't. Years, look at it. Just years and years and years it must have took, but it never. And there's no records of all of this. It's just that all seems to be mingled, and there's no, I got a bit of evidence. This guy, as I said, they're supposed to have been contracted. What, for all of this?
Martin, was this from a world exhibition or not?
Yeah, world exhibition.
You have to bear in mind that mostly of those old world exhibitions, many of the buildings were made of wood, and just for a couple of years.
Maybe the stone cutlery.
If you research a couple of world exhibitions, you can find out that a lot of buildings were made of wood, just to show you how the structure was made, and later on they were torn down after the exhibition.
Could be.
What
made of what, artist? Made of what?
Wood. Just like props.
Really?
Just like props for a movie set.
Yeah, well, they do megalith faking, so I wouldn't put it past them, but that doesn't...
I don't say they all were, but it was done in some cases, because if you have to build this, if you have to build all those buildings for a world exhibition from stone, it takes a lot of time, and if you make them from wood, you can break them down after the exhibition is
they go into all that effort with wood. It's amazing.
It was done in some countries that they made the exhibition.
Oh, they did it in Greece.
Oh, that looks like stone to me.
The Elgin the Elgin marbles, bas reliefs that were on the Parthenon in Athens, and they were bas reliefs. They were across the top of the Parthenon in Athens. If you look under there now, when you mag up on pictures, there's wood underneath. They're supposed to be ancient Greece. So this shit happens. They are faking megaliths, and it's partly to muddy the waters of our past and our reality. And this is a prime example. Paris again.
Yeah, some were probably made of real stone and steel, like the Eiffel Tower, of course.
Well, I could see that was good, yeah, but
some were made of wood and were torn down afterwards.
Right.
And that's why, because a lot of buildings, like you mentioned, were made from wood underneath. That's why a fire hazard was such a big problem back in the day. Even in Chicago, you had that big fire that basically destroyed the whole city, because a lot of buildings had a wooden underlayer behind the stones. Because it was very difficult sometimes, even in that time, to build a whole structure of stones, because otherwise the structure would become too heavy on top.
Yeah, and to get them up there in the first place, the weight taken out. The same works with the megaliths as well. But it's just uniqueness. And if you look at that building in the foreground there, I got a photograph of me stood in front of there. Now they say that's not ancient Rome. That's built in the 14th century, but it's in Rome. But it's identical to what you see in the.
A lot of this called neoclassic. They built in a time period. They built in neoclassical style.
Well, we're looking at there. At this, do you know that road there? Well, this is the basically the Forum in Rome, right? Now I got a photograph of me on this road here. On the left here, there's a chessboard in the floor, which you can play chess on. They tell you it's Roman.
For sure. It's a huge possibility that the Romans also went to England, because they were in the Netherlands, they were in Spain, because even in Spain you have Roman fortresses. and
Yeah,
they had good sailing
They built
ships.
the Roman baths in Bath. To start, got loads of mosaic things left here.
Martin knows more about the history of England, of course, because he lives there.
These black silt lines you'll find everywhere. You see, this is in St. Petersburg, a housing estate going up. And on this line here, I took exactly the same photograph of exactly the same black line here in Wales.
Okay.
I think this is evidence to this blackening. You can see an evidence to the fires that were carried out in the Iceni rebellion of Boadicea. She sacked St Albans, Colchester, and Londinium, apparently in her little rebellion.
This bridge could easily be Roman. Yeah.
Right, where do you think that is then, my friend? A wild guess.
In England, because you are talking about England, of course. No?
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. Oh, it looks also. But yeah, the styles.
The Boeing system. It's part of the Boeing system. This is the problem with this Boeing system. I got cramped in my foot. It looks all like that. You know exactly what I think. It looks like a little bridge in Wales, doesn't it? But no, it's Hong Kong. You might have it's got to be the Chinese.
Well, in China, they copy a lot of things, of course. And
well,
also in the 1920s, it was popular to build in that neoclassic style.
Definitely.
Yeah. Because even in Philadelphia, you have a lot of buildings in that neoclassic style. Most of them are libraries or more archive buildings like that. And it was, I think, in the 1920s, 1910, it was popular to build in that style, if I'm correct, around that time period.
No, that is. This is the churches in St. Petersburg. Sorry, this one's in Moscow. I'm a liar. The churches in Moscow and St. Petersburg. A lot of people have got. There's evidence I got in some photographs that the buildings around them have got like really low basements and windows that are basically on a road level. So it would seem that all these churches have been excavated, and there's good evidence for it as well. It's just some junk.
The building you just showed in Philadelphia, the church you just showed in Philadelphia, you have almost one that looks the same like that.
It's Moscow, this one.
Yeah, I mean, Philadelphia, you have a building that looks just like that one.
Now, let me change my file a minute. Mud.
Maybe I can search it real quick for you.
Yeah, cool, please.
Because I went to...
Yudit sent a picture in that I think you should see. Ceres, I sent it on Messenger.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing, guys.
Some cool stuff.
I got thousands. I could go on for all night. Do you know some nights, like when I'm on Skype now with friends, I'll go through my collection of old photographs and just explain them away, and it's just like a night's entertainment to people. It's a like cool thing to do. But I believe we all got a story.
Martin, one moment. I sent one to Ceres. Ceres.
We'll see, chat.
Ceres.
More calling Orson. Come in, Orson.
Where's he gone? Oh, there he is. Ceres, I sent you some stuff on, there it is. Yudit just sent that one in.
Ooh, where's that to, is it?
Budapest.
Budapest. Yeah, I've been to Budapest. Buda or Pest. But that, yeah, you know, they got the same thing in, I was looking at Prague the other day. Now, there's a city I'd love to visit. Full of bridges. Think so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
I've been there. I've been to Prague.
Have you? Oh, that looks beautiful. I want to go to Italy.
Lucky you, Karen.
Yeah, lucky you. All the bridges.
Yeah, this is the Philadelphia Exchange Building.
I'll have to look through the photographs now, see if there's any buildings like that.
This is the Philadelphia Exchange Building. So that's one.
1 second.
That one looks pretty much the same.
Wow, it does look the same. The way you said.
Yeah, cool, eh? Yeah, I've been to.
We, as Flat Earthers, right, we had a meet back in 2015. No, 2016 Flat Earth meet was in Oxford, right? Outside of the Oxford Cambridge, which is identical to that circular building. Twice in the last week, I've seen them on Hollywood movies. This Oxford Cambridge was on a really big Hollywood production. can't remember what it was. And another film I seen the other day. They keep showing the Oxford Cambridge on Hollywood Movie.
Yeah.
What's this?
This is all.
That place.
This is also all in Philadelphia. Those buildings, all also neoclassic. And this one you know for sure because this is from the Rocky movie when he runs up
At
the
the top of the
stairs.
steps, like that.
Yeah, that is when Rocky in Rocky 1, 2, and 3 he runs up those stairs, and then he. It is from the Rocky movie. Basically, this is a museum, the Philadelphia Museum of Art. That is. There was a statue over here of Rocky, but they put it on the side now.
Oh.
Yeah, before it was just standing on top of those stairs.
I find it incredible they put a pyramid outside the Louvre, which is the biggest fronted building in Europe because it's nearly a mile long, the front of it. And they got actually an atom smasher in there, you know, in the Louvre for analysing paintings. But they put a pyramid outside. I think it was finished. Oh, God, which French Prime Minister, come to me now, built it. It's got 666 panes of glass.
Mm.
This looks exactly the same as the same structure they filmed in James Bond's Octopussy.
Oh, I
Okay.
man, got some smart architecture in Philadelphia, though. But they had a fire there.
Yeah, Philadelphia.
Got a picture
And
of
this
it.
is the
Completely destroyed after their expo.
and this is City Hall. This is a very high-rise building in
Oh, I like that.
Philadelphia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is one. This is I think William Penn.
Wait, on top
of
of
the.
it. Wow.
Yeah, that is brilliant. Yeah, it's a very big statue, and basically you can visit this. This is City Hall, and this was, I believe, till about 1982 the highest building in Philadelphia because
Right.
this is the highest city hall in America, and you can visit that. And over here, when you see that balcony a bit, you can get there with an elevator or an old elevator on top. And then you can walk over here. It's of course fenced off with glass, and then you can view the whole city from on top of here. And if you look straight to the sky, you can see the William Penn statue. I believe it's William Penn. Yeah,
Wow.
I went to Philadelphia in 2004, and it's a great city with a lot of great architecture.
I got relatives there. I got an auntie, my father's sister, Hilda Elba. She apparently owns jewelers shops. She lives in Philadelphia in the city.
Can I just say, Martin, that Yudit sent, when Artist has finished this, Yudit sent a couple more, which I sent them to your series.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
All right, series, I sent you 2 more.
But Philadelphia is one of the. I think it's a very nice city. I went there, and they also have a lot of shops in. I don't know if in American cities that's the same, but in Philadelphia there are still a lot of big shops in downtown. Yeah. So the Philadelphia city is very vibrant of all kinds of shops. And
What's
also
the lawyers, isn't it? Philadelphia lawyers.
Yeah, and the Philadelphia the Phillies.
Phillies, obviously.
And the 76ers, the basketball team.
Yeah, I'd love to go there. Looks beautiful.
Yeah, Philadelphia is a very nice city, and I stayed in I think the International Hotel, and that's just on that pathway to that museum. So when I looked sideways out of my window, I could see that whole avenue. So that was very, very beautiful to wake up and then look out of your window and see that long avenue.
Let's have a look for some star forts in the Philadelphia area. They're all over America. I find it fascinating. The entire of Amsterdam has been avoided. All world wars have stayed exactly the same architecture through them both. Apart from, they had the occupation, but nothing was touched.
Yeah, Amsterdam was not bombed in the Second World War. Only Den Haag was bombed in the Netherlands, Rotterdam.
I know Den Haag. Yeah, I've been at Den Haag.
Martin.
I love The Hague.
Yeah,
Martin, there you
also
go.
Beautiful
They're
city.
Yudit's pictures.
Oh, she got some sweet pictures. Oh, check it out. Who's the fella? Is that Karl Marx? Wow.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, who's that guy sitting there?
Who's the hot hippie bird, man?
It looks like an important person because he has an altar scroll in his hands.
He looks familiar.
Oh, me?
It is Ceres.
Hunyard Castle.
He has just a nice beard, just like Ceres, that guy. That's for the statue.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful. I went into a really cronky church once in Sicily, and it had all like flaked paint off outside and it looked really terrible. But when I walked through the doors, my world changed.
It says below, and just
I was like, boom, a colour and gold.
I never heard of that one. Darn nice.
Martin, you know that you were talking about like what would happen if they were building things. I found this little video. I was actually looking up why, you know, like a little video about flat earth beards, and I came across Ceres. I've sent it to you. That man, it takes 3 minutes. The man one I was showing you earlier on. Would you play that one?
It's a shame that that Berlin was bombed so heavily, because in Berlin there were also a lot of beautiful buildings before they all destroyed it. I have some old books of
Yeah, I was looking at Rotterdam. That was disgusting because the mayor had given his surrender that evening, and by the morning, what was his name? Gagarin. I can't say it. Can't pronounce it. Gagarin, the field marshal, decided to why write the city off. He done the same to Eindhoven. It's vanity.
Ceres, would you play that one of those videos that I sent you? The one with the man saying about, you know, it's 3 minutes long, about how we can't be living on a globe.
Oh, that one.
He was talking about the diameters. I just thought I was looking for something else and I came across this. Ceres will put it on.
I think I've seen it.
Minutes long. It says Ceres will play it.
Fries was quite good the other day. He mentioned you on there and Chris Monk's work and stuff.
It was that.
Grade 17 in science, 4 extra years in the mathematics of gambling, known as the Taj Professor and the Great Canadian Gambler. And with the same education as Mr. Spock, science, and he always came up with the odds. And I'm not going to lay to rest the story of a non-spherical or a flat Earth, because it's easy to prove. Newton found that the force of attraction between two objects, atoms or stars, is directly proportional to the product of their mass and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between their centers. So we're only interested in distances here. So if you have two objects that are this far apart, and they're going to feel a certain amount of tug. But if you move them double apart, you're not going to feel 1/2 the tug. You're going to feel 1/4 the tug. And should you move in half the distance, you're not going to feel twice the tug, but 4 times the tug. Inverse square, right? Got it? So by figuring out how fast you're accelerating, and if you know your masses, you can tell how far you are away from the object. Now, that's the inverse square law. So let's see the Earth were a hockey puck, this shape. Well, that would mean that, let's say it's 4,000 miles to the inside. If you were way out here, you'd feel the force of attraction, 1/4. And if you were somehow halfway inside, you'd feel it 4 times. Well, out here on the edge, you would feel the normal acceleration. But on top here, this is halfway in. You'd feel 4 times the acceleration. As well, if you're out on a corner here and you drop it, it's not going to fall straight down. It's going to fall at an angle towards the center. Anywhere here is now at an angle towards the center. So when you're talking about a spherical planet, people are betting that everywhere it's the same 9.8 meters per second everybody feels. So we're all the same distance away from the center. And that anything that falls goes 90 degrees straight down. So it's as easy to prove a non-spherical or a flat Earth by simply finding one spot on the planet where the acceleration is not 9.8 meters per second about, and where things don't fall at 90 degrees. And you win.
Thanks, Ceres. Crazy, eh?
I heard the same argument earlier. I was listening, I was doing a bit of cooking. I was listening to Neeps at a hangout, Sheeps, and he had Lewis Hackett came on there, Globetroll, hacked him, said he was Jamie Brown, and he was going on about the force of this ball, apparently it's pulling because of this molten core. Now, that's a bit of a jump of the imagination, this molten core, isn't it? When they've only drilled 8 miles down. We don't even know what's under the mantle, never mind 8 miles down. It's all imagination. Yeah, everyone's willing to argue with that. We don't know what's underneath us. It's crazy. Whatever. Even if it was no ball, you don't know what's in it.
How can they, if they've only gone 12 what is it, kilometers down,
Yes.
how the hell do they know what's down there?
We can't do it through math. It's only guessing. It's just making it up, like they've always done. And then you just get a weight, a math in equation to back it up, so the rest of us don't work it out. It's quite simple. Whoa, trippy.
There was another video that I had for series to play. It's about the Flat Earth Convention. Have you seen it, Martin?
Yeah, it's awesome. I made it there, put it on my channel.
What, the Hori one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For Hori, linked him up. Yeah, it's cool. Very cool.
You can play that one because you're in that one.
What, the one from Hori? Yeah, okay.
Series, will you play the Hori one?
Yeah, he does a good job presenting it well.
What is the Hori one then?
Wiki.
I sent it to you in Messenger. It's the other one in there.
The Garage one UK?
That one, yeah. It's a shout out for the convention as well, but Martin's in it.
Hey Siri, I had a vision once on the Amstel Bridge. Do you know that? Crossing over and I heard all marching. I turned around and it was all troops. Sort of foggy troops marching behind me.
Okay. It's
It's not there yet.
April 27th to the 20th.
It's not there,
Not there.
Series.
Yeah, it was already playing.
Don't come up now.
Technical.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
29th of 2018. In just 8 weeks, this grassroots organized event went from only a loose idea to an incredible 3-day event that everyone is sure to enjoy. Now let me explain what we're doing. We've launched a website that's split into 4 different areas. One of the areas will display the ticket pricing, and we hope that it will suit most pockets and allow more people to find a good timetable to attend the parts of the event that they would enjoy most. Another area of the website will explain the event itself and how it's split into 3 different programs. For example, on Friday, we'll be having a fairly fluid evening just to sort of get everyone warmed up. Saturday is really the centerpiece, and it's dedicated to the main speakers of the event to give them a chance to present their latest ideas and the current projects they're working on. Also, there will be an opportunity to extend the discussion to the audience with a Q&A section. And finally, the Sunday portion of the event will be dedicated to a debate between the speakers covering 1 or more topics. And each will have a chance to talk about the flat Earth model that they are leaning most towards, and vice versa. The website will also help everyone get acquainted with what accommodation options there will be, alongside other useful information. And we will be hosting a private Facebook page for attendees to join and really stay up to date on everything pertaining to the event from one official and easily accessible source. It'll also be a great way to break the ice with folks before the event starts. After all, we'll be fairly close to each other during the event, so this will be a great way to start getting to know some people before you're actually there, especially if you're traveling quite a ways anyway. And look, just so you know, this wasn't all set up to simply put on a 3-day event. Not at all. This actually grew into something much more than we imagined, and it truly has the potential to provide more local links and a legacy for the future. For more information about this event that we're now calling the FEC UK 2018, just visit www.flatearthconferenceuk.co.uk. We hope to see you there.
And anyone who doesn't love the gal must love the rulers. I don't back to the ball. I believe that shit. 'Cause when you take a step back on that, everything I show you is CGI. God, what is this still? Why? You can tell me gravity accounts for space and time, but I won't go back to the ball. 'Cause I won't trust myself.
Hey.
Okay, cool. Ceres, put the link in the group chat just for to give some coverage about Vegan Warriors' new channel, because his other channel was blocked by YouTube. So everybody knows his new channel. It's basically from D-Marble a video to show you where Vegan Warriors' new channel is.
I was going to link it. I forgot today. I'll do it tomorrow. Vegan Dog, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot. I'll write it down.
Yeah, you can also play it so the rest of the people also can see.
Yeah, I showed you yesterday.
Yeah,
Okay,
he sent
cool.
me a message because he is a very interesting guy and has a lot of great information.
I love vegan, man. Yeah, Vegan Dog. Okay.
Anyway, just back to that convention. You're speaking, aren't you, Martin?
I am indeed. Yeah, I'm going to be basically having like different sort of, I suppose, presentations arranged, but it's just going to be to suit my mood at the time, because I'm a bit of an unusual creature. So it was whatever. Just got a feeling there's going to be so many discoveries between now and then that it's going to be a whole different paradigm in a few months' time. It just changes so quick, this thing, you know. 6 months ago was completely different to what it is now. Maybe it will be the same again, unless the whole world wakes up by then, and we might not need one.
Of course. Ceres, can you play the video that we can watch?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was
cool.
live last night. I watched a bit of it. It was really good. It's really good, Vegan. Talks about consciousness and stuff. I love all that.
I want to make a quick video directing people to Vegan Warrior's new YouTube channel. Recently, Vegan Warrior, he's been working overtime exposing the Charlottesville hoax, picking that whole story apart. You know how the mainstream like to push this narrative to keep people divided in so many different ways, and Charlottesville was no different. And Vegan Warrior was going hard, exposing that, just breaking down detail by detail how things just didn't add up as far as the mainstream narrative. But because of that, he was had his account terminated by YouTube for supposedly violating YouTube's community guidelines. So his new channel is Vegan Dog Society. So I want you to go ahead and go over there. I'm going to put a link in the description to his new channel, and go get subbed up. If you've been looking for Vegan Warrior, that's where it's going to be at, Vegan Dog Society. And story about Vegan Warrior, the first time I was introduced to his content was through a video mashup back in April that Jaron did. I believe it was titled "I'm No Longer a Flat Earther, I'm a Realist." And I clicked on that and I heard this guy just going off, you know, with a lot of passion and conviction in his voice. And it was Vegan Warrior. So here's a quick clip of that.
I no longer believe the earth is flat. I know the earth is flat. I am not a flat earther. I am a realist. So when I think of the word earth, I want to make it wall. That's how strong the indoctrination. We say Cubans. They can't. We say Cubans. They can't. They got to manufacture a reality. And that's how they have won.
So the way that that video played, you know, I mean, just the impact it had on me, you know, I was like, I like that. I'm not a flat earther, I'm a realist, which is why in that spirit level experiment video that I did at the end of April, that's why I started off that video by saying this. I'm Daryl, and I'm a realist, also known as a flat earther. So, you know, Vegan Warrior, from that mashup, him speaking over that music, the way that Jaren put it together, and the visuals and all that, that actually inspired me to become more vocal about flat Earth, obviously. So, you know, as a sign of appreciation, I'd like for you all to go over the Vegan Warriors channel and get subscribed to that, and you know, just show them our support out here. So that's all I got for this video. Real quick, just wanted to put that out there. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to get over there and subscribe to Vegan Dog Society. I appreciate you. As always, be good to each other. Take care. Stay flat. See you soon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, this is a new channel with he talks about his vegan dogs and other flat earth and also flat earth things. So he just started his new channel a couple of days ago.
Yeah, Martin's muted at the moment. That's not very often, is it, Martin?
Yeah, I thought it was important information to point out his new channel, because Vegan Warrior has some great views about the flat earth, and also great things you can learn from him about veganism and a healthy lifestyle.
He done a response to Joe Rogan today, didn't he? Joe Rogan read him out once, didn't he, on his comments?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did a great response on it. I loved
it. He did, yeah. I love Vegan, man. He's so cool.
Yeah, he's a very nice guy.
Yeah,
I was one of his first guests at this hangout back in the...
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I went on Dred's first ever hangout. It was me, Vegan, and about three others to pledge me.
Yeah, and one of the first hangouts Vegan did, I was on there.
Yeah.
Just by myself, because I was the first one. And I had a great chat with him about veganism and about the flat earth.
Is it?
Yeah, it's still on my channel, so if you want to see it, you can
also see
it. I made the backup and put it on my channel.
Okay, that was annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, you got lost there, did you, Will?
Well, I was logged in and on YouTube and you know, subscribed to the channel. Then I logged out and I disappeared from the hangout.
Not a bit.
Hey Martin, what do you think about my bit with the Star newspaper then?
It's good. It's good. Look, the rational thinking person is going to look at that and think, well, there's definitely something in this. You know, you're the second mother now to be up in Britain in the papers. A lot of people, overwhelmingly in my area, people read the Star, they read the Sun, they read the Mirror. You know, they don't read, you know, a little bit up like the Mail. God forbid the Times. So a lot of people are going to look at that. I'm going to crank up on YouTube. I red pilled a girl today I was in school with, Joanne Flynn. I seen her at the supermarket. So what are you doing with yourself these days, Matt? I went, if only you knew. I can't really explain. I said, well, I've got a YouTube channel. That's one thing I'm doing. So cool. What's it called? I went, Flat Earth British. She went, Flat Earth? I said, as in, you're flat, Joanne? Right. Well, tell me some more. So I just red pilled her with a quick, you know, 1 minute Martin blast. She went, right, I'm going to get on this as soon as I get home. So that was sweet. So she subbed to me there in front of me and went off to go home and watch me. And the guy who serves in the shop across the road, I red pilled him yesterday. He subbed as well. I hit everybody. Why not? I ain't ashamed. It's the truth. Most people can deal with it. It's how you put it across. The thing is, with this flat earth, if anyone, you know, you bring it up, most people are conditioned to laugh at it, aren't they? how silly a notion. But if you put it in a way that really hits them on a basically a spiritual level, gives them a knee-jerk response, you know, something deep down, which I can do with people. That is what gets them thinking. You know, I can just say a sentence and play on people's minds for the rest of their lives. They told me this. So I think to myself, just get it right, explaining it, send them away, put the seed there, and let them do the rest themselves. I said the other day to someone, I'm not going to research for people anymore. I just know I've got that time in my life. They want me to give them all the answers that I had to look for myself. And I say, look, the answers are out there. Go and look for yourself. It's flat. You just need to do the research to dig deeper because there's more going on.
And of course, when they do the research in themselves, they found out stuff themselves, so they can find the videos that that they resonate with.
Yeah,
because sometimes you give them videos and they don't resonate with them because they and it's handier if they find a video themselves that resonates with them. So message gets across more easily. What I always start out when somebody is washing his car, then I tell them to, oh, nice car, yeah, of course, nice car, and he's washing his car, and then I basically bring up the stuff about that electric cars were already there in the early 1900s. Yeah, and then I show them I have a paper in my pocket always, and I show them that newspaper article. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, they lie about that because I thought always that the first electric car was in the 1980s. Oh, is it that old? Yeah, then I'm showing a wind turbine car because he also had wind turbine car, and I just found out a Chinese man also made a wind turbine car, and basically he had fans on his car in the front of the back, and when he drove, the fans was moving, and with those fans he charged his electric engine.
Dynamo, that's excellent. No, I never knew about that.
Yeah, but most people don't, and I tell them to research that, and they come back and oh well, interesting, all those electric cars, and then I put in the flat Earth, and if that's a lie, well, indeed, maybe the Earth is flat, and they start to research that. So I give them small pieces, bit by bit, so they can digest it. And, it's not one big thing that you put in as, so they can digest everything just bit by bit and do the research themselves. So indeed, that works perfectly.
Probably not best to start with 9/11, is it?
No.
Not really.
No.
I have to go, you guys. Yeah, I wish you a very good evening wherever you are in the world, and see you guys next time.
Yeah, see you next time.
Thanks for coming on, Will.
Bye.
Will.
You know, in the last couple of months, I've learned more about my country's history than I've ever learned in my entire life, because I realised the answers are on the ground. You know, basically not up there. I'm going to have to get out there. But I mean, for my historical timeline thing. So I thought, well, I'll get out there. Now, it's going to be a fine day tomorrow. So what I plan to do is I got a book up there from the 1933 of a church, a cathedral, and it's all its schematics for its building as far back as the Norman period. Got it there. This book is rare. But the beauty of this book is that church doesn't exist anymore. It got blown up in World War II by the Luftwaffe, right? So I want to take that book into the cathedral, find the bishop, and hit him up with that book. I got a feeling he's going to want to see it. It's an absolute delight. It's got all the schematics for the original cathedral in it, you see. But there's like over 1,000 years of history in there. So I really had to have a look around. And it's only 2 miles away. So I think to myself, I got all this rich heritage at my fingertips. And with my, you know, I've left myself in a good position here, guys, because apart from all my years at sea, I worked as a stonemason, as an archaeologist. So I've got quite a good, and a builder for years as well. So I've got quite a good idea what's going on, you know, especially when building's concerned. I worked on the Millennium Stadium, on the roof of that, for a whole summer. I spent on the top of that baking hot roof, putting the slats on, corrugated. What occurs to you is, because of the size of the development, it was the biggest in Europe at the time, is the other developments around the plane. You know, we all go with, oh, have you seen the obelisk at Belbeck? Yeah, man. How could they hew that stone? I don't know. But then when you look into the stone at Belbeck and you find out that sort of looks like there's an indentation in the earth and there's things been put in after, and then you find images online of bits missing, and inside it, well, what looks like rebar and concrete. So is it just an operation to get tourists in, similar way they do with other megalithic structures? Well, yeah, there's a big money industry. If they charge it up,
Oh yeah,
and
just like with Stonehenge that I talked
exactly, my
about. Some
brother. Yeah, they did
they,
the same thing.
they rearranged the stones, poured concrete, and put the stones in place. So basically, nothing of that structure is almost original. So it's just like a tourist attraction.
Yep, I got a picture up there from a painting by Constable. It's the earliest you can find of the structure.
Yeah.
In 1742, I think.
Yeah.
And it's not really looking like it is now. It's all completely
Oh
flat.
no,
You know?
no! It's a round circle with stones all around it. And
That's all it is.
basically a platform on it where you can walk on with wood.
And it's just lost its World Heritage UNESCO rating, which makes no sense. The idea is, the road next to it is an eyesore, and people can get in for free. So they're bypassing, I can't remember what A road this is, but they're bypassing that road, and they've dug a tunnel underneath Stonehenge. And according to the rules of UNESCO, they can't have tunnels underneath a UNESCO site. So it's lost its UNESCO World Heritage. So for the operation of getting the ugly road moved, they lost its UNESCO World Heritage rating. Does that make sense? Because it doesn't to me, unless the jig is up. And I think it is.
Yeah.
You think 4 years ago, we had Barack Obama come to my city. He came to a NATO conference we had here in Newport. Okay, all the world leaders were here. They had a fence around the entire city, right? A massive high fence that went for 12 miles. Do you know they took that fence down and they got it somewhere hidden away in some sort of, unit? And they said they took it to the jungle in Cali, the Songat refugee camp. Well, I went on Google. I studied, and they knocked it down, they moved them on. That fence was not at Songat, so that fence is out there somewhere, and that can enclose tens of thousands of people. I'm wondering, an entire city, my size. I'm wondering what they've done with that fence. That's bugging me. That fence is out there.
That's a great thing. That's a great thing when you do actually the research. You found out that they are lying all the time. Yeah.
Oh, I always do it. I always dig to find out what they're saying. But with this conference, this whatever they did in NATO, he goes back to go to Heathrow on his Air Force One helicopter, Barack Obama. But on the way back to Heathrow, he makes a diversion flight and goes to Salisbury Plain to visit Stonehenge for 10 minutes. He shakes hands with the guy that's there with his son. The kid goes, I want to shake hands with you, President, which made me laugh.
Yeah.
But that occurs to me that he knows, because of who he is, that he's looking at amusement attraction. Because you could see it in his face, this grin. If you look at it on YouTube, you know
I've seen those photos of Obama visiting Stonehenge. And also this cool on one stone, you can see that piece of iron sticking out of one of the stones.
Yeah, I've seen it myself, that photo. Yeah. It's crazy, mate. It's true. It's true. Look, the 1800s was the age of hoax. You know about the bone wars with the dinosaurs. We all know about that by now. Just to fill a museum built by Prince Regent, Prince Albert. Just anything to fill that thing that they was a folly.
What Angel was saying in the last hangout, and I like that opinion. I hope I can duplicate it in the right way. They always say, "Look at this structure. Look at these bones. Look over here, that's interesting." So they can hide other shit.
Yes.
There's a big diversion to something else. So everybody's looking at a certain thing they want you to look at, so they can hide something else.
Yeah, they muddy the water so much that you can't work out what's going on, you see. That's what they do. They falsify megaliths. There's other parts that are real. But you can't really work it out. They like to postulate by an entire television series called Ancient Aliens that's the culprits for this. It's obviously machined, this stuff, and something's happened. They want to, they're painting it one way, with their globe mentality. But we can see what's going on. Something has happened, guys.
I have also a question for you, because you live in the United Kingdom. What I see in many road constructions is that they put massive pipes in the ground that you can actually almost drive a tank through.
Yes, indeed.
And it's happening all over the cities. They put these huge new pipes in the ground that easily drive a tank through, or a couple of cars. It's happening. I've seen it in Amsterdam. I've seen it in in Rotterdam. I've even seen it here in Germany near the border. They do road construction.
Think about
if they do.
Think about it.
If they do road construction, they put in those massive pipes everywhere. It almost looks like they are building an underground city or some sort.
No, I think they've been doing it for a long time, but I think it's all down there anyway. Like, I think films give you clues, like that film The Matrix, when they're in these ships in this giant underground sewer system in LA that doesn't actually exist in our reality. I think they give you clues. Now, what you're saying here is right. There's a tunnel system on this road outside that goes all the way towards the other side of the city. You can drive an Arctic lorry through just under here. Now, this tunnel system, I believe that is partly there anyway. I've dug into I've researched the start of the London Underground, and it's occurred to me there's been a lot of covering up going on with the building of that, and I believe that there was stuff down there already. I believe they found equipment, tunneling equipment, around the early 1800s mark. Because all of this stuff, the Brooklyn Bridge and the way they do cofferdams and these great constructions of, Brunel, the tunnels, the Clifton Suspension Bridge, and all of these constructions all arrived at the same period, never before. So I kind of thinking that they found maybe some mining equipment. I don't know. All the mines in Wales were closed by Margaret Thatcher. Right, nothing wrong with them. We got millions of coal down there, but it was cheaper from Argentina, so they closed all the mines, crippled that country. We were collecting food for the people up the valleys. It was that bad, right, because of Thatcher. But all of the mining equipment she left down there. All of it's still under there. Millions of pounds worth of mining equipment. And all that occurred to me. I thought, well, they could have dismantled it and brought it back up. Maybe they couldn't. Maybe this stuff was already there. Now, I used to have a vision when I was a kid that the Chinese would, why the Chinese? Because this vision had people with eyes like that. So they could have been from anywhere in the East. But I had this vision from young teenage years, recurring dream over and over. They were tunneling underneath us and they could come up at any time. But I know it seems a leap to the imagination that there's a giant tunneling system underneath from this last thing, but there's enough evidence. Look into the Labyrinth of Colossus. That will give you a clue. It's linked to this entire city, this network under Europe.
Also, a couple of hangouts ago, I showed that underground city that also Jesse Ventura visited in one of his conspiracy theories program. And I actually researched the site, and it's a huge facility in America underground into a mountain.
Dulce? Is it Dulce?
It could be, but...
Yeah, that one's huge. But yeah, they reckon you can drive from New York to Los Angeles without sticking your head above ground, they say. I think it's all peppered underneath. I think the whole thing, a labyrinth. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
If they can't go up, the only place they really have in reality is to go is underwater cities or what have you, or underground. And they could do that. Yeah. That's not beyond them. They can go down a bit. So... are they doing that?
It's called Subtropolis.
Sorry?
It's called Subtropolis. You can find it on
that field, isn't it?
Subtropolis is a 55 million square foot underground bunker. It's basically in Kansas City, Missouri. You can it's even on Wikipedia. So it's funny that even Wikipedia just. You have to search for the name, of course, but it's even, I can show you, I already found it. This is basically, can you see this?
What?
What I popped up in the screen. I hope it works this time around. And this is basically on Wikipedia, Subtropolis. And it's a city, Missouri. And you can see how, you can also see all the... factories that are in there, and even one is called Cerner, so that's very interesting, and it's related to CERN here. CERN.
Really?
Look, some factory related to CERN. One of the first he popped up is I've already thought, well,
Cerner.
Yeah, Cerner. So I thought, well, that's just interesting. Then I clicked on it, and then you can see it's related to CERN.
Good God.
So, that gives you an indication what they are doing there.
Yeah. Nice little clue, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, I do research all the time because Jesse Ventura talked about it on his conspiracy theory, and I was rewatching all those episodes of conspiracy theory with Jesse Ventura, and I thought, well, I want to actually find that site to make sure, like just like you do, research to actually find out if it's true. And I found the site. Also, there's a coordinates of the location on Google Maps, and you click on it, and you can find it. And it's a huge facility.
Yeah, do they give you the dimensions there? Yeah, they do. 4 point, I don't know. 10,000 square miles or square meters.
Mm-hmm.
Harry, it's too small. God. Makes you wonder what they're doing with them then, doesn't it? So it's for them.
There are some businesses in there, but yeah, the list of the businesses they are stating on this Wikipedia site are far less because it's much bigger. It's only 50 businesses and organizations. So they must be keeping a lot of other stuff in there.
What's training and logistics center? What kind of logistics are they talking about?
Talked about this quite a lot, but artists found that in 1965, NASA said we were flat.
You also the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. So that one is also over there.
Huh. Are you saving seeds?
And what one did you want to see, Martin?
Sorry.
What one did you?
I was just saying he's blocked as well from Sun and Moon in chat. Just intrigued. I was too, James. I don't know what's going on there. Crap.
Okay.
I did say it's not. You never got notified. One of your subs. Yeah, something.
Okay. Also the United States Postal Service is in there, Martin. So now we know where all our mail goes.
What?
Yeah, the United States Postal Services is also in that facility. So now we know where all our post is going, what we don't get.
They're digging a new...
All the lost mail is over there. All the lost packages and mail is probably over there.
Wow.
You never know.
I go through all that. Lost property. All the FedEx stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that new tunnel they've ripping through London underground, a new part of the tube system there. They just hit a plague pit. They reckon it's London's long lost plague pit. Well, you're telling me London had a plague pit? They didn't know where it was.
Okay.
Nah. Yeah, there's something like 250 bodies there. They're just exhuming them now this week, and it's put a stop to it. They got a bypass and everything else. Incredible.
Yeah, indeed, incredible.
Yeah, I think it's lies. I don't think it's a plague pit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the Black Death's a misnomer. I think something did happen, but I don't think it was that. There's evidence to some, basically, there's too much evidence to say that there was some sort of Grim Reaper type characters, or basically people in hazmat suits outside of every village in Europe spraying some sort of mist. I've read dozens of different corroborations for this happening all over Europe, in Wales as well. And then this apparently there's only their records which says people have died of an unknown disease, which we have said in the modern day could have been bubonic plague. But obviously we can't go back in time with a chemical analysis kit and say, oh yeah, it was bubonic plague. We're guessing because they say it was bupas. So this thing arrived, killed apparently, whatever, a third of Europe, maybe what they say 3/4 of Europe, and disappeared with a click of a finger. Do you believe that? Because I find that leaps imagination. I checked the records of people in the Black Death. France, part of it escaped. Nostradamus cured everybody he got in contact with using rose petals in water.
Yeah, there's also a lot of history about curing diseases with frequency.
Yeah, you can anyway. Look, I had video evidence of an operating theatre in Asia. I think it might have been Japan, and this is how they do it. The man's laying on a slab, no anesthetic whatsoever. They kept him open and removed his appendix. Right, I've got pictures of it in a book up here as well. The exact same technique, and this is how they do it. There's 3 of them standing around him, and they're going pa pa, and the other one's going chop chop, and the other one's making another sound, and they're doing it with his body, and they're altering in this guy's frequency using that sound, and they're literally operating on him, and they're taking it out. I got a chapter in a book up there of a boy, just exactly the same technique, vibrational methods, and no pain, just laying there talking to him, cut open, appendix removed, stitching back up, no problems. So, and I've also got a lot of evidence. You don't even need to go to a doctor. Everything you need to know about your health is locked in your eyes. There's a technique of eye. Basically, you can look in the eye, you can tell if your liver's bad, what your body needs vitamin-wise, and what illnesses you've got, all locked in the iris of your eye. And they got techniques they can do to read it. Well, why wouldn't they? You'd think, wouldn't you? Because it doesn't back big pharma up. So they have techniques, and they basically, all Western doctors say there's no reality in basically any alternative medicines. I brought it up with my doctor. You know, do you not believe in sort of other forms of medicine, doctor? No, not really. So, well, you were going to send me for acupuncture, though, doctor. So that's the endocrinatic system exists in your mind, then, doctor. You stumped him a bit, and carried on. But they don't want to touch upon it, you see, because it doesn't put money into big pharma's pocket. If somebody goes there depressed to a doctor, they say, "Oh, you are then? You're some Prozac, St. John's wort, Hypericum. Go away, mess your life up, and that's going to earn probably 25, 30 grand out of you for this big pharma just by that little prescription I just signed." When in reality, you should have said, "Go for a walk down by the river, take your dog, take some sandwiches and a cup of tea in a flask. You'll come back brand new." But they don't say that because there's no money in it. This is what we're up against. How many people realize that, though? And they put their trust into doctors and people like that. And there's more than that going on, and I can prove it. So, and can't be a bit like
indeed, because I also what I talk about is you probably know that already. Propolis. That propolis is a natural antibiotica that is extracted from the beehive, and it works perfectly because
I see about it.
Yeah, my dad is using now those pills for almost a half year, and he had some cramps in his muscles for a long time of period, and it was not. He tried all kinds of things, but it wasn't solving the problem. And then and he was a little bit sad about it, and he wanted. He had a lot of pain sometimes when he was lying in bed. And then I said to my dad, well, try this propolis. You never know, maybe it works. And we already used propolis.
Yes.
Fluid propolis to put on wounds. If you have a wound, you can put. It's also like jodium. You can put on wounds, and you have also fluid propolis. You can put on if you cut yourself, and then it is a natural. Also, that cleans the wound. It's like in a natural way. And so he already knew about that was working. So I said, well, we just try those pills, and now he's using them for about half a year. And all his muscle aching and stiff muscles is gone. He can now bicycle again for about 20 miles, like he used to.
Sweet, isn't
because
it?
He was in good health, and my dad is about 75 years old.
You know what? I posted on my channel a couple of weeks back this vlog. It turns up on my Facebook feed. A guy with severe Parkinson's disease, and he goes into this room, and he's like that. And he says to the doctor, "How's your week been?" He went, "So bad. Your heart just bleeds for this guy." And he sits him in the chair, and he puts a little bead of THC oil on the inside of his mouth. He's laid back. Within a minute, he sits up, he smiles. All of these violent convulsions of his body are complete. In fact, the disease had disappeared. The Parkinson's disease had disappeared. This guy started to sing. He started to smile. He went, "I feel brilliant. I can't believe how this has changed."
Yeah, even Jesse Ventura, his wife was ill, and she had seizures almost every day. That's why Jesse Ventura wanted to run for president, but he didn't do that because his wife was ill, and his wife And it's because a lot of people give him a beef about, well, why didn't you run for president? Well, basically, because his wife was so ill, she almost died. Because he had seizures almost every day and sometimes 4 times a day seizures. So Jason Vertuwe went to doctors, tried everything, nothing worked. Then he had those capsules, wheat capsules of wheat pills. Yeah. And you put them under your tongue and, well, somebody said to Jason Vertuwe, well, try these. So he tried them on his wife. And within 2 days, the seizures were gone. And now his wife is seizure-free for almost 4 months.
Crazy.
Yeah. Nothing worked, only those wheat pills worked perfectly. And she's now seizure-free.
Incredible.
So that also proves that alternative medicine works perfectly. And they often they are also cheaper.
Oh yeah, of course. You can get it yourself sometimes. You know, what's the best thing when you got a cold? Lemons and warm water and a bit of sugar on top, isn't it?
Yeah.
You ever had that? Lemon and honey, sorry.
Yeah.
They just said lemon and honey.
Yeah.
Yeah, she used to do. And what, you know,
what also works very good for your health is nettle tea.
Yeah, I used to have it when I was a kid.
Yeah, that also works very good.
Yeah, it is. Tea, the properties of tea are renowned. You know, this is why the aristocracy of America, and there was a big thing I seen the other day, a post about JFK used to have tea parties, didn't he? And his big thing was the tea, and he was actually famous for his cups of tea. He always had to have them because he knew of the properties of tea. It can't, you know, caught on. You know, a lot of coffee drinkers, there are properties in coffee, but I think tea is a really good antitoxin, and
if you buy the right tea, of course, not that garbage they sell at some supermarkets.
No man, Happy Shopper tea bags are not going to crack it, I'm afraid. But you know,
you have to buy the good quality tea, the real tea.
I don't really like the taste of them anyway. I don't like the taste of Darjeeling or Singshang or these teas.
No,
more your PG tips. I do not endorse that product on your channel, Carol.
Martin, I'm just gonna put something in the chat room. I just want you to see it in the private message on here. I just want you to see it.
Oh, all right then, if I must. Right, I got McFizz giving me a dog's life, so I may as well bloody just get it over with. Back about 3 months ago, something like that, there was an eclipse happened, and that night my head went a bit funny, and I'm in a chat room, and there's a guy, and he's blasting away at my friends with the worst kind of nasty that I've ever heard. So I got my hair off, and I made one accidental, which could be construed, if you were ugly in your mind, as a racist comment, which is really weird because I got most of my friends are coloured. Have a look on my channel, you'll see this is true. Now, I'm a 50-year-old next week, and I come from 1950s mentality, and it slipped out. As I say to my friends of the day, I'm nipping over the Packy shop. I said it today. My neighbour said it to me. Yeah, I go over the shop and I'm friends with the guy. I turn him on the flat earth. There's nothing in it. It's a term, a phrase. So I say the same in chat. This really nasty person, you packy bastard. And because that's my one slip up in the 2 years on ya, right? This man is using that against me. He goes round, he makes events, and he keeps going on about my one bloody little mistake of calling a guy who was evil as shit to my friends, getting my hair off on a really weird night when the eclipse happened, and I wasn't in my right mind. Admit that now. I'm sorry that I'm not PC and people will use my mistakes against me, but it shows me something really clearly. So I'm pleased this happened. Obviously, I'm not a racist. I'm a flat earther. That's nasty to use that against me, you know. Try and find another mistake. You're telling me you're a 50-year-old Brit and you've never once said you're going over the Packy shop? You're a fucking liar. That's bullshit. Every single person in my city says the same fucking thing. So that's bullshit, my friend. You're using that against me. to get hate against me for whatever reason. I know what reason. There's somebody else I'm friends with you don't like. You can't go on at them, and being the type of ugly mentality you are, you come in at me thinking I'm the weakest link, but I'm afraid I'm not. Now, you're going to have to let that go, because I've just spilled the beans. And the more you go on, the more you're going to make yourself look like a bad person. Okay? I'm not going to apologize to that guy. He was ugly as shit to my friends. He was coming out with all terrible things that are not true. I will defend my friends. I'm a loyal person. I'm loyal to my friends. What I can say to you about you, we were friends 2 years ago for no reason whatsoever. None. You turn. You wait for a mistake. I'll have him now. Like a viper. Carry on. There's my getting it on the table. One word in 2 years used against me. Try and find a Brit of my generation that don't use the same terminology, and you will be fucked, because it never happens. All the people in my city say the same words. She says it, my mother, she's the last racist person you can imagine, and so am I. Use it against me, because people will see what kind of person you are. If you're a hater, it'll only come back at you tenfold, brother. Carry on. Make your videos. Spin your hate. What do you do to prove in the shape of the earth, to free humanity and your brother man? By hating, making videos, doing nothing for flat earth, just spilling about people in our flat earth community, good people, who've done a lot for other people, woken up thousands between them.
Mm-hmm.
Carry on.
Yeah. Well, you do a lot of great research, Martin, so we like that, and people always try to point.
I don't like when flat earthers turn on me, brother. It's bad enough we got the globe beds, but when you got flat earthers looking for you to make a mistake to use it against you, to me that's just really sly. That's snide as hell. Well, it is snide, isn't it? It's not me that's the horrible, criminal, nasty person, yeah? I've just admitted I made one mistake. I said one fucking word, and I tell you what, that guy had it coming.
Yeah.
I don't regret it one bit.
You said it because you were emotional at the time.
I was emotional as hell. He's saying Patricia's a fucking man and shit like that. These are my friends. And you know, if he was in the room saying to me, I'd have jumped on him. I'm a bloke. This is YouTube cyber. Yeah. But I'm a real person, you know, in the real world. Yeah. And these people think that this is some safe fucking haven, and he talk to people like shit. This guy comes out of nowhere. He's trashing my friends. I will defend my friends. I made one mistake. I said one bad word. Yeah. I retract that word. It's not right in this political correct society to call somebody from Pakistan, abbreviate it, and call him a Paki, is it?
You have to bear in mind, indeed, you're an older person. And I know even in my childhood, when somebody was dirty and they came home, they said to the children, "You look like a Turk." When you were playing outside, back in my day in the early 1980s, and you came back at home, and you were dirty from playing outside, and you had some smear on your face. My parents and all other parents, everybody said, "Well, you look like a Turk," and there was nothing racist about it. It was just a figure of speech back in the day.
Look, when I was a kid, I can't go into racism because I'm not, and I don't even like mentioning the subject, because talking about it actually makes it an issue. And I don't see racism as an issue. I see it as the issue with racism is people talking about it as being an issue. In reality, it's not. You see what I'm saying? And that guy's using it as trying to say, you know, painting the rumor that Martin is a racist. Well, carry on. I don't give a shit, because it's not true. If you go on my vlog, you'll see most of my friends are actually coloured. Take a look at me, you knob.
Well, basically it proves when I put a video on from Vegan Warrior, you were smiling all the time, so that also proves that you're not a racist.
I was in a hangout with 5 black people, that's right, all my friends. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So that's just their way of educating, using things against you and try to get you upset and that sort of thing.
Yeah, also, real nasty, isn't it?
Yeah, it's well, and indeed, if you go to the channel of those guys, they have no content. They don't.
Fishing people, it's their content. It's called the subculture of subculture. It's called bottom feeding. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's ridiculous, those people. I think if they and also they have a lot of sock puppet accounts. Well, if they put so much effort in doing those stupid things, I would like to say to them, put some more effort in some research instead of putting so much effort in bullying persons and telling lies about persons. Yeah.
Videos on my channel are going on about other people. Have a look. Must be about 0.0%. So don't do that shit. Find it a waste of life. Why would you do that in this life? When there's so much productive, good work we can do together as a group, like what characters, we're bringing good research together. This is golden. Like you say, this is the cutting edge. So, to me, people by using my mistakes.
He tried very hard not to say anything public because.
I tell you what, I forgive him. If he moves on, I'm willing to do that. I'm not that type of bloke. I never have been. So I'm willing to forgive him. For, being snide, and if he wants to leave it and carry on, I'm quite willing to do that. But if he wants to carry on, basically trying to dirty my name and my reputation, it ain't going to happen, brother. Carry on. Too many know the truth, and too many can see me now saying these words. I'm sure this will be cut off Karen's feed and mirrored.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Carry on.
Yeah. That's a cool. Martin, do you have, I think, besides your computer, you have some kind of pyramid thing? It looks interesting.
Oh, I bought it this week.
Oh, yeah. Just behind your glass of water.
I like clocks, right? And I like ticking mechanisms.
Yeah.
And I seen that in a clock shop where they sell clocks, an antique shop, local.
Man.
I thought, a pyramid. I picked it up. I said, what's that?
Yeah.
It's a metronome. I wanted one of them. I downloaded an app for a metronome a week ago.
Oh, that's cool.
What's the chances? Honest to God must have known.
Yeah.
Check it out, boys, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's
So,
also what people use when they are playing the piano to get certain type of...
I tell you why I got it. I'm doing my mother's head in with my bass playing, right? So I got to keep the lead out, not going into the amp. And if I have my headphones on to play along the music, then I can't hear the bass, right? So I thought, well, if I just get a tune going out, click, 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 then I can keep my timing for my bass playing, and it's not bugging it. So that is basically for my bass playing. It's all about timing, isn't it? So
yeah, it's all about timing indeed, and that's very handy because you can also change it to a quicker pace and a slower pace. Yeah.
I like the slower. I'm a bit more into your sort of blues.
Yeah, me too. Well, you probably have me heard playing the mouth harp a couple of times in this hangout.
Yeah, I love slide guitar, that sort of thing, sort of bluegrass.
Me too. The blues is one of my favorite music things.
Yes,
B.B. King, Johnny Lee Hooker,
Johnny Hooker. How. Yeah.
I've always my mouth harp ready. Karen knows it because when sometimes somebody has to do some findings and it takes some time sometimes, you can also I need to have an mouth harp ready, so I always have it by my side. And this is actually made, it's also set on the packaging, a blues harp. Because it's made for playing in the blues. Because you have different kinds of harps. Because and this one is an A, flat E. Yeah.
Cool. My friend Stan plays harmonica, brilliant as well. Have you heard the band Bad Manners from the 1980s? They sung Lip Up Fatty, famous ska record in the 80s.
Just like Madness.
By going Lip Up Fatty, quite famous. He was a harmonica player with them. He sent me a few of the records with him on there. It's really cool.
Also that band, maybe you know that ska band. I think they are also from England.
I know band. I got a back catalogue. I was playing. I love band.
Yeah, and also Hepcat.
Oh yeah. Oh, you've got the same type of music going on as I have.
Yeah, cool. and you also have that other groups. I don't know them. I'm very bad with names, but I have some ska records still. Of the Specials. The Specials. The Specials is also a very good ska band.
Yeah, and I met the drummer of the Specials a month ago. One of the drummers. Yeah, he's a drummer in a band called the Transpersonals. And he came to the Cardiff Bay meet that I had, and he played with Specials.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's what
not when I've seen him.
That was one of the first records I got from my birthday from an uncle of mine who was big into ska music. And he gave me that record of the specials, the first one.
I got it down there in CD. My only existing vinyl is down by there. It's One Step Beyond Madness.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Madness is, of course, very, very good. Yeah.
I've seen them all.
And you have also those ska bands from Brazil. And some ska bands even from Mexico. It's yeah, they're not so well known, but I can real quick go to my CD collection and get one.
I seen the Mexican Elvis. He was called Elvis.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is
That's trippy.
Fred Fisher.
What is it?
Fred Fisher. It's
Fred Fisher.
Yeah, one of his songs is "Say the Truth," and it's basically a bit. It's ska, but it's also has a carnival sound to it. So
Are you
it's
familiar with the music?
it is a bit of salsa music and ska mixed. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's Fred Fisher.
Don't mind salsa. It's quite funky.
Yeah.
Do you know Gary Clark from where's he from? Oh, Nashville. And he's a blues guitarist. He's absolutely brilliant. So it's like very Hendrixy, but better, better blues anyway. Yeah, catch him.
My dad is also very into blues. He has, I think, almost all the B.B. King albums, and I also have some B.B. King albums. And besides blues, I like to listen to jazz, Charlie Parker. And Donald Byrd, Hank Mobley, Stanley Clark, Duke Pearson.
I got a photograph on here on the computer of my grandfather in his regiment or his squadron in the RAF in World War II, and he's next to him. In the same squadron, he's Duke Ellington.
Oh, cool.
His friend.
Oh, yeah, Duke Ellington, also very good, yeah.
My favourite photos. I love it. I love that photo. There's Duke Ellington, big fella, and there's my grandfather, little like next to him, and there's all the other RAF, British blokes like around him. Cool.
Hey, also, you probably also like Chuck Berry. If you...
Cool. Chuck Berry's one of my all-time favourites, mate.
Chuck Berry. He just died, I think, last year or beginning this year.
Did he?
Yeah.
Look,
I think Chuck Berry was about 88, so that's very old for him. Very old for him. I've 2 records of the old records of Chuck Berry. Those old.
I got his back catalog.
Those old vinyls.
No Hendrix.
I've from Chuck Berry those really old vinyls from the 60s, those heavy ones. Yeah, back then, because in the 70s and 80s they made those lighter vinyls. But the sound...
Yeah, she got vinyl from Chuck Berry. My mother, yeah. She got a vinyl collection. It's huge. She's got loads of Chuck Berry.
Yeah, that's great music.
Oh, yeah.
I always like that when I'm driving a car, Chuck Berry. For some reason, it's a very good driving music to drive by. Was she searching for a Chuck Berry record or not?
My mother's telling me she worked in a music shop when she was young. Only they only sold what's called sheet music. You ever heard of that?
Oh, sheet with Le Freak, those funky dudes, yeah. Just like George Clinton, the Parliament, Bootsy Collins. Yeah.
Crazy.
I DJ'd for a while with a friend of mine. Basically, he was DJing and I was doing the light settings in a disco. And it was cool because he was the DJ, so I could go in for free every time.
Wow, that's it.
Yeah.
That's good.
And we get drinks for free, and I was doing the lighting. And when he was taking a leak, I was doing some DJing instead of him. Because sometimes, he had to take a leak or... get something changed of records, and then I was DJing for a bit till he came back, and it was a fun time. Yeah, we basically played funk music all the time. So that's why I also know a little bit about funk music, because there were funk parties back then. They were very nice. A lot of people came there.
Cool.
Most of them even dressed in 70s clothing. So that's really nice.
I love that funk fashion.
Oh, yeah.
Slapping that bass, funkadelic.
Yeah.
You fly high, I can take you higher.
Yeah. Yeah, Funkadelic and was
Funkadelic, I got some of
one
that.
of the first records I heard when I was with him. And I thought, whoa, this is some funky shit.
Yeah, Family Stone, I got some of them. They're quite good.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it all. I like James Brown.
Oh, yeah, of course, James Brown. This is also very, very, very good. The man.
He's a bit of a diva, though, because he insisted when he played in Glastonbury, when he was alive, that he was to be carried over the mud.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was a great performer, a whole show going on. And always he fell down at the last moment on the stairs, and then he got back up and played another tune. And he was a great crowd player, because James Brown sometimes.
When he was young, he was gritty. When he was young, them live sets when he was young were really gritty. You know, he wasn't like with his white.
Oh yeah, James Brown. But Chuck Berry was sometimes also very nasty, because he basically Chuck Berry punched out Keith Richards' Light at the moment when he was playing with the Rolling Stones, and Keith Richards, he was having some beef with him, and then Keith Richards want to congratulate him on a nice performance, and Chuck Berry basically punched out Keith Richards' Light. It's also in a documentary about Chuck Berry that he. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. I got a Chuck Berry live concert. I absolutely love his jacket. He got this brown leather jacket.
Yeah.
I think it's snake. Is it snake skin? Oh God, I don't think it's real. Oh.
But later on, of course, Chuck Berry apologized to to Keith Richards. And, yeah.
He was on the One Show 2 weeks ago, and he done a little on the BBC telly. He was playing there, and he just itched it out on a guitar. He was only just 1 minute, and he was really, really good.
Oh yeah, it's like it's like a set. It's like breathing for him.
It is.
Breathing.
Good way. It is. You've been doing it so long. Like
it goes natural.
They played Glastonbury 3 years ago. And Mick Jagger at the time was 72 years of age, and he managed, like a young man, and he managed to dance on that stage, run up and down that stage, which is huge, for 2.5 hours. A 72-year-old.
It's amazing in what kind of shape he's still in. Yeah. He must be using some secret wonder drugs or something.
Whatever that's going on with them, there's something going on. Look at Bob Dylan. He's still getting records out. He was putting them out in '64. Yeah. You know, Subterranean Homesick Blues was 1964 now.
Even I thought 2 years ago, Simon and Garfunkel did a performance again, and it was just like they never left.
They're coming to Cardiff.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about seeing them.
Yeah, Simon and Garfunkel are still, their voices are still great, like they never stopped, like it was 1974.
Even Neil Sedaka's back, sorry, Britain. Can you believe Neil Sedaka's back? And do you know what? He don't even look that old.
No.
And he, like you say, he's natural. He just hits the piano, and it's like, you know, talented.
There was even a blues artist, I don't remember his name, but he got the dementia, and he forgot all of the name of his children, but he still could play the blues. Because it was so automatically for him. And they still, only they played an auto cue for them, so he could read his own lines. But the guitar playing was still very good. That was, he couldn't remember the children's name. His lyrics sometimes he forgot, but guitar playing, it was still
process. It's same as a bike learning to play a bike. Once in that part of the brain, it sits there, and then because riding a bike's really weird one, isn't it? Once you got it, it's there. That's really strange.
I still remember my first when I was a little boy that I was riding a bike for the first time.
I'm going to show off my great crop. Okay, these are grapes from by there, my garden.
Oh, oh yeah, cool, man. They're looking very nice. Yeah.
It tastes like heaven.
Of course, they're not sprayed with anything. They're all natural, of course.
On the fence.
Yeah, I've just picked some apples from my apple tree outside. I've now an apple tree and I got about 20 apples this year. So.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and also have raspberry bushes in my back garden. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too much flat Earth conversation. There's no rules, is there?
Well, we all also have some fun, and this is also related. It's probably even related to flat Earth in some sort of way.
Martin, give me one of your grapes now.
How did grapes they are from a back garden, Karen? Just goes to show how miles we're getting. They reckon
well done.
Grew them here as well, and then apparently we've gone cold, and then they couldn't grow them here. But you know, Cornwall and that, they gave great grapes, but you couldn't really grow them here this well. But I had them facing all day sun, and they just got mental. I was just like a little grab of them. There's loads out there. They're all going to go off. I'm not going to make wine because that's alcohol, and I'm going to try. I just eat them all.
Great.
There's actually a buzz in these. Actually, they're only tiny, but as you're eating them because they're alive, you know, they're basically an hour or two picked. They're like a little off them. You do with live food. Don't get it when it's processed.
It's a great healthy snacks for in the evening, indeed.
Yeah. I had a pizza earlier, though.
Just to compensate it, because otherwise you get too healthy. No, just kidding.
I eat well.
Yeah. Well, if you make the pizza yourself, you can make him also in a way.
Yeah, I make it myself. I phone Domino's.
Okay, well. If you have sometimes it doesn't matter, but not all the time. Yeah.
I've had to keep my Skype and my Hangouts off most of the day because otherwise I won't get absolutely anything done.
Well, nowadays you even have pizzas I saw on the box that are vegetarian and without any artificial flavoring. So there are even pizzas now with better products on them and in them.
I found out a couple of weeks ago they reckon there's a theory that aspartame turns into formaldehyde in your body. Isn't that interesting? Well, why would they put aspartame in anything anyway? And when you research
to sweeten it, because the products they sweeten and put flavor enhancers in products to make them taste nice. And why
glucose or lactose? You know, some natural sweetener.
Martin, why do you? I know why they sweeten or put food flavor enhancers in food, because they get the cheapest kind of products. They taste like shit, so they have to put all those chemical taste enhancers and flavors in them and sweeteners, so they hide the bad taste of the actual product. Wow. So that already says something about the product. If they have a lot of artificial flavoring in it, well, probably if you take all those artificial flavoring away, it tastes like shit. So that's basically why they do that.
That just sounds so disgusting.
Yeah, of course.
I don't drink Coca-Cola until I boiled some down and see what happens. I've seen it on YouTube. I thought giving that a go.
Well, Martin, I buy Coca-Cola. You know what I use it for? To clean my toilet. It's a great toilet cleaning.
Or clean. You can clean money. Karen, you can put old money in there. It'll come up brand new.
Yeah.
I know that. I can just see artists with some Coca-Cola.
Cleaning my toilet, it works perfectly.
I know it does.
Ooh.
So imagine what it does to your stomach if you drink it.
Burning a hole in the stomach.
Cleans you out, then obviously.
Yeah, but it also does a lot of damage.
Tomato sauce is the same. Ketchup or brown sauce because it's got high amount of vinegar in it. If you put a penny in brown sauce or tomato sauce for a week, it'll come up brand new.
Oh yeah.
Isn't Coca-Cola not that colour either? Isn't it another colour? And they have to tone it black so it will drink it.
When I boiled it down, right, I got all the moisture, a lot of the moisture out of it, and what it turned into was about an inch or so of black molasses substance, which was just looked like death. It was disgusting.
There's even a video on. There's even a video on YouTube when somebody bakes Coca-Cola in a frying pan, so all the water evaporates, and you end up with a brownish goo. Indeed.
Goo.
I've seen it.
Disgusting. And people are drinking that. It's doing the same in them. Oh.
It's basically all chemical sugars with some coloring, and that's it.
I gotta go. I'm needed. My mother's needing me. What it is, because I gotta look after my mother, care, and I gotta get her sorted for bed and shit. It's part of my day at work.
Okay.
I'm coming back for a hug, Martin.
Well, the link's open. I'll just sort that out. Then if I'm floating around, I will. All right.
Coming back for a hug. Are you leaving then?
Thanks for sorry about my little outburst, but I just get nicky and I try to.
Sometimes you have to get it off your chest.
Well, I didn't really think it was important enough to actually, because it was so superficial and bullshit. I didn't think it was worthy. He said to me in a chat earlier that I owe him some sort of explanation. Why does he think I owe him anything? Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It's strange. People thinking anybody owes them anything in this world. What reality is that? I don't know. Not living in my world, that's for sure. Look at where I live, boy. Well, that's 2 seconds. Anyway, see what I got to sort her out. Much love, Karen. You are epic. Epic. I thought it was a nice photo anyway of you with the paper, and it was you had Ceres, like soon to be Google bust on the fucking screen. So somebody's going to look at that and wonder what's going on there. And you were there looking like you're on the screen doing all intelligent stuff.
They asked me to do that. They asked me. Said they must have picked the worst pictures of me possible.
No, I don't think so. I think from your perspective, you look like a thinker. You look like you're really intelligent and you're doing something productive. Outside, it really does, Karen. Think about it. Because outside,
I hate them.
Well, Martin, I think Karen looks like a passionate person in those pictures.
She's like a high-end intellectual.
Yeah, but you know me, artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like, you know.
My goodness, look at that woman.
No, it's good. You did well. Don't worry about it.
But
anyway,
the main thing was the article was out in the public, wasn't it? It wasn't about me. It was about flat Earth. That was the most important thing.
Yeah, indeed.
Team yeah, one for the team, because we're all one big operation. I don't think this is like just one thing. I like to think this is one big entity.
Martin, on Friday, the paper didn't put the picture all about on the web page, and on Friday it went down to sort of lineage in the paper with no pictures, and it says mother of four wants to flatten NASA.
Really? Did you read all the comments on it and the feedback? What was the comments like? Do you have a look?
Well, members of our Sun and Moon and the group went on there and put comments on there.
Right. I should have gone and had
a couple of people said that I was. Well, you can imagine what a couple of people said, because those pictures were horrible. Usually
on the newspaper article comment streams, it's usually negative as hell. It's usually their people, you know, spamming it and stuff.
Come back to us, Martin. They want to understand why flat Earth men have beards.
Well, I don't think it's they don't. I haven't got a beard. I'm not going to have one either. My hair's gone long, but that's to help with my psychic abilities. But this thing about beards is because we're basically, when we're born blokes and all that, shaving is like a tool to get us cleaner now. Our natural state as a man is having a beard, isn't it? Because that's why we got them. So all it is just going back to our natural states, and that's why people are doing it. I can't do it because it itches like crap to me, and I can't. It's just not me, so I'm not. But I can understand why they're doing it, and it would work. It does work to get him back to who we are as men. I agree.
The more itchy it becomes.
I can't go past that period, silly. Well, I get that on there, and it's like,
he loves playing with his beard. Don't you, Ceres? He sits there going like that with his beard. He loves it.
I did like that, though. I had a moustache when I was young, and I was forever going like that with it. I don't know. Forever, I was. Oh, my son was little then, so we used to pull it like that. My moustache, but you know, what I like, funny. Yeah, I wore a moustache for about 10 years, 15 years. It's like
I can't imagine you with one of those moustaches. I can't imagine it.
Like that, it was like a Mexicana moustache, and I had long hair, so just, you know. I know. I know. If I leave my beard now, Siri, I would just have grey. Because if I don't have a shave in my 5 o'clock shadow, I just got a grey chin. If I grew up, it'd be a white beard.
I always like this, and this I already have for years, and yeah, it became.
Suits you,
To
though.
say that series because it's white, it makes you look older than you are.
Not
That bit of
necessarily. It's English.
He
You
isn't.
don't find out.
Series isn't as old as he looks. Maybe it's the beard. This bit.
They all got them nowadays, haven't they? I don't think it makes them look older at all. It's just more like men.
Even growing back.
Yeah, I haven't gone grey until recently. That's the flat earth that done that to me, you know. Before that. them lot are doing it to me, Karen. They're worth it. I love them all dearly.
Another grey hair when you find another building. Another grey hair when you find another life.
I've had discoveries in the last few days, and when I've had them, you know, when you discover something and you think, oh my God, it's like, oh, my suspicions, and then there is the evidence, and my heart, it'd go boom in my chest. When I thought, oh my God, the destruction of Dresden has been bugging me for so long, and then when I research and find out the whole of Dresden is a star fort, fitting my theory of the destruction of star forts, I thought, Jesus Christ, there it is, in black and white. It's incredible, honestly. I've even got the schematic map of the bombing. It's on my thumbnail for the video. The area is just the citadel of the star fort. It's incredible. They're doing that, for sure. And I pick it apart. I go through all the cities. I will. I love architecture anyway, so it's all a plus. I enjoy it myself.
Oh yeah, I also love architecture. I think I have I think almost 500 books of architecture, and I think I have about 100 books before the Second World War. Dus I have a book of Dresden before it was bombed from 1910.
No way.
I have a book of Berlin before from 1993, just before the Second World War. I have them of Cologne, Hamburg.
Yeah, Martin, if you want any documents on electric cars or newspaper articles or NASA documents.
I have real books of Dresden also before. It was very beautiful before it was bombed down.
I can't put into words. I know.
The Swinger Palace they rebuilt. It's now in the original state again.
Yes, you know, it's beautiful.
The Swinger Palace was bombed down completely. And
I looked at Potsdam earlier and I thought, Jesus Christ, you know, it's the only reason I know Potsdam is because of the Potsdam Conference in World War II. But what's going on there? Absolutely unbelievable. And Kronensberg and all of these, you know, I'm going to go through them all and find out when they're all star forts. Isn't that incredible? What's the chances? All of them. Okay.
It was very. And sometimes you can get those books about ancient, about old cities in second-hand stores.
I hunt them all the time. Yeah. I hunt them all the time for books. I'm always on the prowl.
Also, I even found one of from 1967 or 68, the buildings of Detroit. All the buildings, a very thick book. It was Patricia Steer, because she's from Michigan, has the reprint of it, and I have actually old one from 1967. And also,
God, do you know that guy in Hong Kong? I had a guy that sent me all his images of old Hong Kong. He tells me that he's wrote a book on the architecture of colonial Hong Kong.
Yeah. I even have a book of colonial houses in Africa from 18...
I've been looking at them as well. I looked at Joburg, Pretoria. Yeah, there's something else. I know. That's worth looking into. I don't really do a lot of South Africa, and it's quite significant. It's that colonial.
Yeah. The colonial housing is also very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. All right then. It's just it's a big plane. There's a lot to look at.
For sure.
I can't find the time. I'm just breaking down. I'm not just totally doing history. I got the flat Earth stuff going on as well. You know.
Well, before I was into flat Earth, I dug up a lot of books on secondhand in secondhand shops and on flea markets about old cities. And I would try to get the oldest books as possible.
I got 4 World War I books from World War I up there, right? I bought they're on Amazon, 79 quid each at the moment on eBay. But the information in them, right? I found a lot of the bombing in World War I. These these giant mines that they set on the Messini Ridge, like the Loch Nagara crater. And when you mag in and you look, there's all masonry, and I'm not talking like bunkers. I'm talking buildings, masonry. As you mag in on these craters, and the first one.
If you also look at all buildings, they have often a date of the actual date.
I just thought about
Martin, if you look, you have to look careful on all buildings. Often you have the date of the building when it was built. For instance, 1955 or 1927. Then on the stone beside it, you often have the Freemason date because the dating of the Freemasonry is in every state a different kind of dating system they have, just like you have the time zone system. The dates on the buildings in Europe have a different type of dating system in the Freemasonry.
I know what you're saying. I need to look in. All right, thank you for that. I got 2 photographs of it. I've laid the foundation with that. Yeah.
Artists has found out that we had electric cars. Like, it's not that maybe we didn't know those things were there, but not like to the extent. Really fast. Then you've got like stuff about, you know, you could go to prison if you say you were a globe. Then you've got the NASA stuff. It seems to me that maybe they wanted the wars so they could destroy all those lovely buildings of yours.
That's what's going on.
Yeah, that's why they sometimes need wars to destroy the evidence. Because even when Hitler did those big book burning things, there are a lot of flat Earth books were also burned. Because
that doesn't surprise me. You heard that, yeah?
Yeah, and also what I heard it from people actually are older now here in Germany who tell the same story that Hitler took in all the Freemasonry books. He didn't burn them.
He didn't.
Probably he didn't. He also took in all those flat Earth books, and they stated they burned the Freemasonry books and the flat Earth books, but probably Hitler used those books for himself, for his own library. And it is still, if you go to a library here in Germany and also in the Netherlands, if you type in on the computer at your local library, flat Earth, some books pop up. What I like people to do is actually look at the number where it is, ask if you can get that book, because you have to, you can loan those books. And what I did, I typed in a number here of flat Earth books, and there were a couple of flat Earth books in the library. Then I actually went to that section where they should stand, and they were all gone.
I knew you were going to say
in the most libraries, they steal those books about flat Earth and about Freemasonry. They are often stolen. You know by who, probably, but it's
flat Earthers, because they're not like that. No, I know.
No, probably the people who want to prevent that people can actually research that in a library. So they are stolen by certain people. Not to name names, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, they steal the keys, don't go in themselves, and let nobody in.
Yeah, indeed.
Anyway, I got to go and do shit.
You need to go, Martin. It's been a pleasure.
It has been awesome. I love coming on the show. It's brilliant. I don't know what's going on with my bloody notifications, though. That's getting on my nerves, Ceres, because your show's not. I come in naturally anyway and have a look, but it's not coming up on my bell. No weird. And somebody just said in your chat as well, Karen. Bloody them.
A lot of people don't get the notification. Some YouTubers even put videos out about that certain topic that the people press the bell for notification actually don't get them. Yeah,
might be just a technical thing and not just them being
a lot of people have the same problem on with YouTube. Yeah,
one way of suppressing it.
Somebody on the chat room today said that they're blocking our channel from the search thing.
Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's true.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Searching.
Oh, well, we push all the more then, don't we?
Yeah.
Hey.
No such thing as failure, just delayed success, people.
If you don't have an elephant skin by now, you're not yet an elephant in the room.
Exactly. Well, wise words.
Yeah.
I got fuck off. Peace and love, people. Much love to the Flat Earthers.
We see you soon. Flat Earth hug for Martin.
Yeah, big hugs.
Hey. Thank
My
you.
computer's getting sweaty with all these hugs.
Thank you, Martin.
Come back. All right, ciao, guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Martin.
Ooh. Oh, those buildings were beautiful.
Oh yeah, I like extension.
It's actually like 10 minutes off 3 hours. Do you think that we should just come to an end now? I hate closing off to 104 viewers because it's great everybody's watching. I mean, that's still a lot watching.
Oh, 104, that's nice.
Well, right now it was more than that, but we've been going for nearly 3 hours. Does anybody want to say anything, artists?
No, not really. I think...
No, you've been talking all night, artist.
Yeah. I can't turn it off, sorry. I can't turn it off.
To get us to talk to each other.
I can't turn it off because he was also in the same type of music I am. Yeah, and then if somebody likes the same type of music even, yeah, it's even more fun to talk to somebody if he has the same music taste.
Ceres, do you want to say anything?
Well, that was a good download. A lot of information there.
Yeah.
Those buildings are just amazing. It's hard to believe they were all wood, though.
No, some of them they built up for wood when they did world exhibitions. Not all of them. Some of them were made of wood.
So much.
Patricia, do you want to say anything?
Yeah. Just with all the pictures of like how they've destroyed these buildings, and one thing keeps springing to mind is that a job, you have to destroy something to put something in its place. But I love the pictures. I mean, there's a lot of places that still have like the front bit of the building and then they sort of build behind it. But it's just such a shame. They're beautiful structures and they turn around and say, oh, well, they're too old. We need to put modern, bland,
you wouldn't
buildings
be able to knock them down now, though, would you? You wouldn't, here, heritage-wise, you wouldn't be able to knock those buildings down if they'd lasted now.
No, but it's just a way for them to create jobs in it. That's why they're going to other countries, bomb them. And, you know, I don't know who it is. Most people would say American. They'll get there, you know, and infiltrate the country. And that's what they've done everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's such a shame. Such beautiful buildings. I mean, that they could make those buildings then with what they've told us. You'd never believe it, really, would you, that all those buildings were there? Thank you, Patricia. Yudit, do you want to say anything? Yudit. She told me what happened. She goes and lies down on her bed and watches it, and then just to run across the floor to go and turn the microphone on. Oh no, not her bed. She goes in her swing things. Yudit. Well, is Yudit? We're waiting. No, Yudit. Well, Yudit was around. Maybe she's gone in the garden or something. To everybody watching, well, I enjoyed this evening, and I think you did, didn't you, artists?
Yeah, when it is about the historical things, I always like it.
I know I had to add you, didn't I? I had to.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this. He had some great pictures, and you can see he did a lot of research to get the best pictures as possible. And I always like when somebody puts in a lot of effort to get the best pictures possible. Yeah. So it was a great hangout.
Anyway, we're back tomorrow night with Stan Smith, the 360-degree camera guy. And I think I'm going to call the hangout Stan's Think Tank Night.
Oh, that sounds good.
Ideas, help, blah, blah, blah. There's Yudit, but that's tomorrow night with Stan Smith, who's been on the chat tonight. So I look forward to that as well, tomorrow night about 9 o'clock. Say anything?
Yes, Martin speak about this underground, and I speak about this long time ago. It's not up, it's down under the ground, that we have to look more and search more. Yeah.
I've always got that feeling now with Flat Earth. We dig down. We dig down. Don't look up. Dig down.
Yeah, the sky makes it pretty confusing.
It's not that. It's just that to us has been. They've told us about space and rockets and the stars millions of miles away. So that we need to go down to find our history.
Yeah, you can find heaven there.
There's Stan in the chat room. Stan, I've just said it's Stan's Think Night tomorrow. You'll hear that in a second. Martin's still in the chat room. He said he's making everybody a cup of tea. And he didn't. He said anybody for a cup of tea. But anyway, yeah, we all want one. I'm thirsty now. But anyway, we'll see you tomorrow night. And thanks for everybody for watching. And I hope everybody enjoyed the show with Martin talking. As I say, we're back tomorrow night with Stan. So, tomorrow, big Flat Earth hugs for everybody watching. Everybody's going to watch this hangout later on. Anyway, thanks everybody.
Bye-bye.